Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains,
we speak.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giles.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're the Beyond the Trope podcast.
Every week, we delve into topics like pop culture, fiction writing, and other nerdy things.
We feature laid-back conversations, bad puns, and in-depth interviews with authors, comic creators, and more.
Find our show at beyondthetrope.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
I'm Andre Gower.
And I'm Ryan Lambert.
And you're listening to
Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2019 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me is
Brad
and
Zach.
And actually in-house,
Henry.
We're missing James this week, but James got married. Congratulations to James and Brooks. Hopefully you have fun on your honeymoon and come back a little tanner and a little more relaxed because they're going to Hawaii, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So that should be fun.
So cliche.
Yeah, it'd be nice, though. It'd be really cool if they surf down lava.
There's a volcano situation there right now.
Well, if you go to the big island. I don't know what island they're going to.
Yeah.
I just know they're going to Hawaii.
Kauai is the big film island, so I imagine James probably pushed for that one. Kauai's also beautiful, so that's not just beyond
film.
Film.
Yeah, I mean, all the islands are super beautiful. And you can, I think he said something, they might be island hopping, too. You can take a...
Helicopter?
No.
Jurassic Park style?
That'd be sweet, but usually you take, it's like an airplane. It's only like $35. And I went there 12 years ago with Brandon. His sister was going to school at the University of Hilo. And I remember we went in there. She picked us up from the airport, and so we only had to pay for airline tickets because she said we could stay with her, so we didn't have to get a hotel, and she'd drive us around. We were sweet. So we go in, and she had a roommate. And so Hershey syrup, most of us here on the continuous United States are used to squeeze bottles, Hershey syrup. But they also make some that are in a tin can. And we go in there, and her roommate has a tin can, and it's open. It's Hershey syrup, and the lid's still on it, but it has all little jaggies. He really tried to get it open, and he's just eating spoons of it. And I don't know, he must have been stoned out of his mind.
I love college.
Yeah, just eating Hershey syrup. I don't think I could eat spoonfuls of it.
Yeah, that's really rich.
It is. I mean, it's good. I mean, I love me some Hershey's.
Because it's not like milk chocolate syrup.
Exactly.
It's dark chocolate.
Yeah, and it's it's made for a concentrate because you make chocolate milk or you put it on ice cream, so it's meant to be blended with stuff. But no, this motherfucker straight out just eating it.
Do you go into a diabetic shock?
I don't know. His eyes were half closed the whole time. And I forget his name, but Brandon has a really funny picture. I'll have to ask him for it sometime. His eyes are half closed, and he has the spoon up to his mouth. So we were making fun of him, but he didn't realize we were making fun of him because we took a picture of him. And, yeah, it was fun.
It sounds like one of those things that you do when you just became an adult and you're like, I can do anything.
Exactly. But do you still struggle with, we're all adults here, mostly. When you're about to, do something, you say, man, I wonder what my mom would think. And then you have to, think to yourself, actually, I'm 30 years old. I don't give a fuck what my mom thinks. And then I go, man, my mom's been really disappointed in me when she sees me streaking across the desert.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
That exact situation.
I know, Zach, you still live with your parents, so.
Well, they're not always, completely home sometimes. But, I guess, some eating habits, yeah. Do I really need to order a large pizza from Pizza Hut and eat it all in one sitting? Not really.
It's not really my parents that push me. It's more I'm closer to the grave than I am being young. So I'm if I don't do this now, then
well, that's another thought, but that's just too depressing to discuss right now.
I don't want to do these things when I'm 60. So.
Well, I mean, now what holds me back is I'm an adult. I'm fuck, I have to take care of my wife and kid.
Yep.
Guess no comic store movies this week. I mean, I have enough movies. I can watch. I can watch a movie this week.
The irony: you're a police officer and you kind of live in jail.
It is ironic.
My thing is that bad habits are too expensive and rent is too high. So
Oh no, that's my god. Every day I just sit there. I remember when I was younger. So Mario Tennis came out for the Switch. I really want to get that game. I don't have $60 to go down to fucking GameStop to get it.
I know my mom was like bragging, "Hey, there's a sale at GameStop like last week because it was something going on." I think it's probably the sale because they're trying to sell the company.
Probably.
And I was just like, "That's nice." I'm
Good
gonna
old
stay away
days,
from
I
there
think.
because
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna be depressed that I can't
Yep.
buy anything.
Because like Mario Tennis Aces looks really fun, but
Just like Charlie looking inside the candy store window, going like, "One day I'll get a Wonka bar."
no, it truly is.
Actually, have you seen that new Atari, the virtual console?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I signed up for pre-order like information and tried to get in on like the early $200 basic version, and I finally had the opportunity. I looked at it, I was like, I can't really spend $200 on a console right now.
Sad.
You know, that I don't even know what the games are going to be.
I mean,
now that opportunity's gone.
That's all right.
Now you got to pay like $400 for it.
Is it $400?
Depends on what model you get, because like there's the base console, then there's like a version that comes with the joystick, the retro joystick, and then there's like a kind of like the wireless controller that the Switch has. There's a version of that too, and so like the bundle's like $400.
Yeah, I don't think I'd pay $400 for Atari.
Yeah,
Because
but like the early adopters, that was and they
Yeah.
also have like two models where like it's all
did it
black.
start as a Kickstarter thing or something?
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter thing, but they raised like they only needed $100,000 to like get in the market, and they blew past it. It's like $2 million or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
400. That's how much like a Switch is, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a Switch is $400.
with no like A-list, there's no Mario type Atari characters or.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is being old sucks. So, I only got my Switch because I was an Xfinity loyalty customer, and they sent me a $200 gift card, and then I put the other $200 on my Best Buy credit card. But if not, I probably wouldn't even have my Switch because I have a fucking family.
A kid that needs to eat.
And people need to eat and depend on me. It sucks. Anyways, we do waste money on this show. Every week we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience of the world. This week we saw Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Stay tuned to the end of the show. We'll tell you if you should see the movie and then play the trailer, and then we'll spoil the film for you. We also talk about movies we've been watching, stuff that's coming out on Blu-ray, movie news, and we also go around town with Brad. Not a moped this week. It's a Stingray convertible. Hey, ladies, get in my Stingray. You're going to have fun when we go down to the Landmark Theater just off 6th Avenue in Denver, Colorado. In my Stingray. White wall tires. And I park it in front of the movie theater because no one will stop me. Because it's my Stingray. Oh, wait, now I'm going to go to the drive-in theater. I'm done.
I never thought the song Firebird could be topped, but I think Stingray is going to skyrocket.
Stingray.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
Okay, so this week at the Esquire, the midnight on Friday, June 29th is The Room, and Saturday, June 30th, it's Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, again, they do that kind of stuff twice a month.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
You can't say that. You haven't seen it.
I've seen The Disaster Artist, and he says it in that.
And then
close enough.
the following weekend, in July 6th and 7th, they're doing Jaws. So
Oh, I might have to do that one.
actually, sitting in the theater today, I was like, because they're promoting, like, the Alamo has their own Jaws thing, and I was like, I never actually saw Jaws in the theater.
I haven't either.
So I might
I don't think I have.
do this or theirs.
Ironically, I've seen Jaws 3D in the theater.
Well, good, because that's the one
How?
you need to see in the theater.
No, I didn't see it in 3D. They were just... Where did I see that at?
It wasn't an Alamo, was it?
No, it wasn't Alamo.
You
They're
mean
too good
Jaws
for that.
19 and Back to the Future 2?
No. I know. No,
That's a hologram.
I forget where I saw it.
It's interesting.
They're doing Alamo's doing the on the water one, right? I don't know if it.
Yeah,
they're-
well, in Austin, I think.
One of my friends in Long Beach sent me an invite, going like, "Can you make it down to Long Beach on the 18th of August?" I'm like, "Why?" And he showed me the link, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, that'd be fun." And it's just Jaws, and you float in the water, and pray to God it's not real.
Or do you?
Similar to the time they did Die Hard in a theater that was on fire.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Fox owns that building. They could, hook themselves up with Fox and actually do a Die Hard screening at Nakatomi Plaza.
They should do Lethal Weapon in front of somebody's front yard.
With just a fire hydrant going.
Yeah.
And at the drive-in, they've got Incredibles 2, Ocean's 8, and Deadpool 2.
Oh,
Ew.
It's a really good lineup, actually.
Yeah.
it's like something for the kids, something for mom, and something for dad.
And then June 30th, from 10 to 12 at Denver Open Media, Stranger Studios and Nebulous Visions Multimedia are hosting a 48-hour film class.
Nice.
So I think it's $10 to sign up and go there, and you can learn tips and tricks on how to get through the weekend.
And I would do it because those are both award-winning 40-hour film festival participants.
That's right.
So it's a good class to go to. I mean, how many 48s have you done?
I think this year will be our 9th,
Holy shit.
8th or 9th. Yeah, probably 9th, yeah.
So, yeah, a vet.
Yep.
Stop by.
Learn from experienced professionals
Heck yeah.
who have stayed up many, many extra hours.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, July 9th, if you're feeling like it, the Bug Theater is going to be showing Ninja Turtles 3.
Nice.
What
What else is happening July 9th?
Nothing.
Okay. What day is that?
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
So, Monday night. And there'll be pizza for anyone who RSVPs.
But that's
It's my birthday, guys.
I'm gonna say I have an event coming up that day. I can't remember what it is. So yeah, I'll be there. Get my za on.
Sweet. I'm thinking about, because I have those 16-inch Ninja Turtle NECA figures, I might put those on display.
Cool.
It'd be fun.
Nice.
Because I bought them and they've been sitting in the box because I have no room to display them. But they look so good. Yeah. So
And so how are you doing that? Are you just putting in the Blu-ray
yeah.
and projecting it?
Mm-hmm.
And this is obviously free because you don't want to collect any money. So New Line gets really pissed and is like, you can't.
Yeah, it's a private screening, but I mean, there's 100 seats in the theater, so why be selfish and
Yeah.
only have 5 of us? When
I mean, it's just basically your birthday party, and you want to see it projected largely. And if people want to enjoy in the festivities with you, you're not doing it for monetary gain.
No, I'm rectifying an egregious that occurred 25 years ago. Actually, this is the 25th
Is it
anniversary
really?
of that movie.
Holy fuck!
I
remember the trailer for that.
I never saw that one in the theater, so.
How'd you not see it in the theater?
Because
Because it's only in there for 1 week?
Yes. You can't see it at home, but Brad's shaking his head at Ryan for his complete lack of respect. Yeah, no, actually as a kid, my parents didn't take me to a ton of movies. So.
The Ninja Turtles, the first one, was the first movie I remember going to.
Mm-hmm.
My mom picked us up after school and took us to the Green Mountain movie theater and dropped us off.
And never came back?
Never came back. Walked home. But yeah.
like the Incredible Hulk down the road. Piano music.
I don't remember growing up where there isn't Ninja Turtles in my life. You know what I mean? Because I remember the cartoon was before the movie, correct?
Yeah.
So I remember watching the cartoon because I don't know how else I would know about them because I didn't read the comics. So
Yeah.
Was your first exposure to the cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the action figures because it was my brother's birthday, and someone got him Raphael and Donatello, and he didn't care about them as much as I thought they were cool. And so as time went on, I just became the collector of those. And then one day, my mom was like, "Hey, there's this Ninja Turtles cartoon show on Fox or whatever," and then I'd watch that every day. And then she's like, "Hey, there's a movie coming out." And then we saw both the movies.
Nice.
Actually, I vividly remember because as a kid, I have no concept of oh, there's going to be another one eventually. It's just
yeah,
there's a movie. So I was just at the theater, and they had that poster just on the wall, and then saw it, and I was like, oh my god, there's more of this.
Yeah, I have to say, I was at my mom's house a few weeks ago, and so we had this all wood toy chest that she would just dump all our toys in, and she dumped it out the other day because she was cleaning stuff up, and in there's still all the 4 Ninja Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady, but they're all beat up to shit. So
I used to take mine to the pool, so they get dunked in the chlorine.
But I mean, because Donatello's my favorite, so I took Donatello, and then I took Rocksteady because I like Rocksteady more than Bebop, and so now they're on display in my collection.
Nice.
I mean, they don't look great because their paint's chipped a little bit, but I don't know, it's still cool to me. And my mom kept them. Is awesome.
we lived in the mountains, and so I'd play outside, and for some stupid reason, I would take them and just chuck them down the hill. And one time, Toka hit a rock, and his head popped off. So,
yeah,
I've learned since then.
Yes, it was awesome to notice my mom also. So Kellogg's you could send away for little action figures, and they'd send them back to you. And I got the Darkwing Duck ones, and I don't know what I did with them, but there was Megavolt, Negaduck, and Quackerjack and Gizmo Duck.
Wait,
and
Negaduck?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure you emphasize that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Negative Duck.
Yeah, I kind of heard something else, but go on.
But I didn't find any of them except Gizmo Duck, so I have a little Gizmo Duck now too, which made my day.
Should we move on? I feel like the kids are getting bored.
I don't give a shit. Fuck them. This is my show. You are all welcome on my show, so you also have to listen to me talk on my show.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast. Don't like it? Tough.
Yeah.
I know my segment, but I was going to bring up, we haven't done a recap of last weekend.
No, I was about to. I was going to
Okay.
segue because I say, hey, Zach, cool shirt.
Oh, yeah.
We were at Denver Comic-Con last weekend, and very busy. I counted up, and so usually I do most of the panels. This year I just had too many. I couldn't do them all. I ended up doing 9.
But it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
'cause it
no,
means
it's
they trust you. And
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. And Zach, you did 3?
Yeah, 3.
3, and James did 2. So altogether we did 13, I think.
Yipes.
Something like that, roughly. I mean, there was a time on Saturday where you went to see Kevin Eastman.
Yeah, I pretty much spent all of Saturday just enjoying Ninja Turtle stuff there. So
I was only in the booth on Saturday till noon, maybe 11:30.
Maybe even before that.
And I was gone. So I literally went from panel to panel to panel to panel to panel, and I didn't even see you guys the rest of the day. And it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I had to tell the lady who was great. Her name was Angie. She was in charge of the main stage, and so I did one panel. And I was running to the Bonnie Wright one. So going from one side of the con to the other is a pain in the ass. And so usually, when you do the big main stage, you have to go through this elevator, and they take you down. You go to the green room. But I was like, "Fuck it!" So I ran through the theater, and I went over on the stage in the backstage. And she's like, "Where are you? Where have you been? You have to be here 15 minutes early." I said, "I understand that, but let me show you something real fast." And I brought up my schedule, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "No, you don't have to apologize. I just want to let you know we will always be here. It might just be cutting it close. Don't worry about it. I'll always meet the talent. I'll always make sure everything goes fine. Promise." And she's really appreciated us.
Did she ever go out into the main floor and see how because the flow this year was there was only one way to go everywhere.
Yeah,
because they blocked off the Blue Bear side.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So yeah, all the rows are congested with people just gawking and walking con speed.
Yeah.
So you trying to get across from
it's hard.
The complete opposite end of the convention center. It's just
even because the ballroom stuff. The main stage is even kind of pain because you have to go up the escalator and go through where all the Star Wars people are. And, and it's not the con people go to the con's fault. They want to take pictures with Star Wars people. They want to take pictures, and they have an action figure setup thing. I get it, but it's hard, and it's tons of stress. And, and that day, so my first panel was sci-fi comics, action adventure comics, which I already didn't like the panel topic. Because that's hard. I mean, describe to me what action adventure is.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Okay, now talk for 50 minutes. So I had a panel with 6 people, and I won't name any names. Brian Azzarello would always kill the momentum, and it was really hard. So I had people like Meredith Finch, who was awesome, and Tony Moore, who illustrated The Walking Dead. And
is Azzarello a writer or artist?
A writer.
So he's probably just heady with ideas.
So yeah, so he did 100 Bullets. He wrote some of Batman Gotham Knight. He also did Wonder Woman for the New 52. So I would ask a question. So this is how I do panels. Talk for about 15, 25 minutes, and I turn it over to the audience. So I'd ask a question, and he'd say, "Oh, no, get a good artist."
Thank you for your insight.
And then the panel would just stop. And then I'd have to think of another question really fast. I don't know what to even say. And because also I learned early on I don't like to get too prepared for panels because one, you'd never know what's going to happen, and you don't know how people are going to be. I'll talk about it a little later, and Zach can talk about it too. you just never know. So when I finally made it to Bonnie Wright's panel, who plays Ginny Weasley on Harry Potter, wonderful lady, super nice. I ran in, I met her, and I said, if that's okay. She said, yeah, that sounds great. Sat down, talked to her. So nice, so sweet. We got off stage, and she told me that was brilliant. Thank you so much for getting people going. And she appreciated me bringing up she doesn't act really anymore. She does writing and directing. She went to film school. She doesn't really want to act anymore. She said she wants to tell more stories through the lens. And that's cool. And she went to school for it. And so she said, thank you so much. And like she rode up on the elevator with me, and she said, you're so nice. And so that was an awesome experience. I did another comic book one. No, then I did Giannis Suetamo. I don't know. I don't think that's what he said either when he said his full name.
I'm just going off of what they were calling out in Celebrity Summit.
Yeah, works. But he was super nice. So he plays Chewbacca, and he was really nice, really cute. Like always, like mentioned his kid. He's from Finland. He used to play. I didn't know that he used to play professional basketball. So that's an easy. You played professional basketball. How did you get to be Chewie? And he said he knew pretty early on through the audition process because they wanted him to act like a caveman. And so he said, this is weird. And they're shooting a new Star Wars in London where they want me to go. And so he kind of put it together that he was auditioning for Chewbacca.
So it was an open call for auditions, but they didn't say who
exactly
the character was
because
for.
Also a lot of people know Brad knows because he goes a lot of Starfest, but Peter Mayhew, who plays Chewbacca, is almost wheelchair ridden, and
his knees are all messed up.
His knees are all messed up, so he can't really walk too much. And so they kind of kept it under wraps, like we don't want to let people know that two people are playing Chewbacca. And so he got the gig, and the auditions were 5 months long to play Chewbacca, and it's and someone asked him a question, what part was Peter Mayhew and what part was him, and he said he'll never say. He says it's up to you to figure out watching the movie if you can tell. I can pretty much guarantee you all the action stuff was probably him, and if Chewie was sitting down in the co-pilot. But he's super sweet, and he never wanted to break that illusion. And then I did the Power Rangers panel, which was interesting. I don't know if I'm going to dish. I don't know if it's appropriate.
Well, you can watch it in its entirety online.
You can watch it in real time. So I got there early, like Angie asked me to. I was able to get there because I had like 30 minutes in between the panels. So I was able to get there 15 minutes early. And I get there, and Amy Jo Johnson, who plays the Pink Ranger, is there, just hanging out. And I walk up to her and said, hi, Amy, I'm Ryan. I'll be moderating the panel. She's like, oh, hi, how are you? I said, good. And I said, usually I talk to you for about, same spiel, 10, 15 minutes. I turn over to Anna. Is that okay? She says, yeah, that's great. I said, okay, I think we're just waiting for Jason to show up. And she said, oh, he's doing this too? I said, yeah. And she said, oh, he kind of looks like today. And she made this face like pouty face. I said, oh, okay. And so panel's supposed to start at 3:20, 3:30, something like that, 3:30. And it was 3:29. And I look over, and so I also like to give the celebrities time away from me because who the fuck am I? Who cares? Unless they want to talk to me. I'll talk to them if they want to talk to me. But I stayed away from her. And our friend Peter is actually running sound behind there. Anyway, so I was talking to him, and then I look over. She's still sitting there. No Jason David Frank. And so I walk over to her again. I said, I guess we're just waiting for him. I said, what did you want to do? She looks at me and says, can we do it without him? I said, if you want to go out there right now, I'll go out there with you. And the handler's back there said, well, no, we should wait a little bit longer. I said, hey, okay. I said, but if she says she wants to go, maybe we should go out for the thousands of people that are out there waiting for her. Might be a nice thing to do.
It's especially like a limited time, too.
Exactly. So, and in those main stage ones, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're done. So, 3:35, no show. And so she walks up to me, Amy Jo Johnson, like, can we just do this? I said, yep. So we just walked out there. And she was really nice. And then about 10 minutes into her interview with me, he just shows up. So he's 20 minutes late, 20 minutes.
It's an hour long.
45 minutes. So,
jeez,
so
wow.
Yeah, pretty close. So when I came out there, so they have a big timer in front of you because you can't. It's really hard to see the audience in that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
So it's hard to see the audience. So they have a really big timer. So usually it says 45. I go out there, 29 minutes. So that's 16 minutes that we waited for him before he showed up. Mm-hmm. so no, 24. So yeah, I was like 21 minutes late because I was talking to her. I don't know. You can watch it online. I was talking to her a little bit. She's super nice, and he goes out there and just hijacks the whole panel. Me, I don't care because I like it when they do it because I don't have to ask as many questions. But you can watch the video with her, and it's not really close on her. It's not like the Bonnie Wright one that was filmed by. The reason Denver Comic Con didn't put that one up. You can't really see her face, but she rolls her eyes constantly at him. And then there's a couple times you can watch it. She leans over to me, and she's like, "Can you believe this fucking guy?" Is basically what she's saying to me. She's like, "Yeah, okay." Is what she really said. Yeah, the whatever is basically what she's saying to me every time he says something stupid. Because he got really offended when. So they're talking about the budget of the first film was like $30 million,
which I looked up, and it's not.
Yeah, so. Something like that. And so she kind of corrected him. Like she said, no, it's like $500,000. He's like, no, it's not that cheap. And she leaned over and said, yeah, it is. She looked at me.
Oh, no, it wasn't the budget. It was the gross. Like you talked about.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He said it like made $100 million in like 95 or whatever.
Yeah.
And no, it was like 35 million.
Yeah, so she would kept on like course correcting him. But he, for some reason, got super offended. And
well, I think for some celebrities, like when they go to those panels, it's not just like answering questions, it's also about performance.
Yeah.
So in his mind he's probably thinking like, oh, I'm trying to make this panel interesting.
Yeah.
Not that it's boring, but just like
no,
he's trying to entertain the crowd.
Yeah, no, you have to.
But she's out there to just be herself and like answer honest questions. So like their perception of what they're doing is like clashing. So it's fun to watch.
It is because you can tell she's fed up with him.
And it sucks like people would ask her a question and he'd jump in on it.
Exactly.
Which is kind of rude.
Super rude. And I mean, she seemed like she was used to it, and she was putting up with him. And at the end, there's like 2 minutes left. And he just kept on talking about CM Punk and fighting him, and like, dude, you're not a real MMA fighter, but he thinks he is, and he thinks he's really cool. And I mean, his shoes were like blue spiked shoes. It's fucking weird. And so I accidentally interrupted Amy, and I felt really bad about it. So when we were leaving, I said, "I'm so sorry I interrupted you." She's like, "I deal with this asshole," and she's like, "No," she's like, "It's okay. You know, he talks all the time anyways. I was just trying to kill time." I said, "Awesome." So we're leaving. I said, "Amy, thank you so much." I shook his hand too, and as soon as it's over, she's gone. Doesn't say anything to him, just bolts. And I've heard, I'm not a Power Rangers fan, but I've heard that the Power Rangers clash constantly, and that he would. The Green Ranger, Jason David Frank, used a gay slur on one of the Power Rangers who is gay, and they had like a real fight or something about it.
I heard that was a thing, but I didn't realize. I thought it was the Red Ranger.
It might be the I thought it was Green and Red Ranger maybe fought. I don't know.
I know. I think there's a few between the Green and Red Ranger because they're both like martial arts guys.
Yeah.
And they just had different like attitudes.
Yeah, and I mean, he knew how to put on a show. I'm not saying he didn't, but he did like always overstep on her. And then he always, like, his CM Punk thing was weird. He went on for like 5 minutes about how he's not a real fighter. And I don't even think that was a question that was asked. I'm like, what is he talking about? And I even tried to stop him. I said, the only thing I know about CM Punk, he has X's on his hands. He's like, like, whatever, dude.
It's also, if you're bragging about, like, taking on CM Punk,
Exactly.
maybe, like...
And, you know, it is... Whatever.
Well, he has a history with grudges because he kept picking on Amy Jo Johnson for this like letter that she wrote him.
I don't even know what the fuck he was talking about. Was it on the show the letter happened?
I think I don't remember like the original series that much, but it sounded like from the interview that like maybe when they were done with the show.
Yeah,
like,
she wrote a letter because I didn't know too. If you listen to her, she actually put some pretty interesting tidbits in. They filmed 152 episodes in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So that's how much she filmed, and so she was done. And she tried to say, you know, I'm trying to be I'm directing. And he's like, could I be in your movie? I should have said, how about me? I can do this. I should have been a dick, but I already was planning on being a dick because I heard he wasn't very nice. So the panel said Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson. So when I was going to go out there, I was going to introduce him as Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank just to be a fucking dick.
One of those really petty things.
Totally. And then I just wanted it to eat at him because I knew it would. But I hope he felt like an asshole. Because she's like, no, let's go do it. I mean, these people are out here waiting for me. She was super nice and really friendly. And then the Sex and the City guy, Jason Lewis, he was really nice. He's on a show called Midnight Texas. Don't know. I know he's in Sex and the City because my wife loves Sex and the City. And so he was really gracious with his time and super cool, and he hugged me and did a selfie so I could send it to my wife. Some people just pick up that vibe, like they're a celebrity, but they don't care. And he was one of those guys. It seems a down-to-earth guy. Mm-hmm. And then I'll turn over to Zach with this story. We, the last day, we did our panel, which went really well. We had a lot of people in our thing, so thank you everybody who came out and saw us.
I think it was like a third full.
Yeah, and James's mom said it was really funny. She just couldn't hear the audience questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, yeah. She said, you repeated them sometimes. I said, yeah, I know. I got to do a better job. I didn't even think about that because they were hooked up to their sound system.
Yeah, and we also, because it was hard to get around, we got there like 5 minutes beforehand, so I didn't have time to
But yeah,
screw around with the laptop.
Still, it came out really well, and Brad had some surprises in there. It was a lot of fun.
I know.
So great job, Brad.
Re-listening to it, like I trolled you with that Iron Man poster. I was like, that was a good moment.
It was a great moment.
Wish I'd filmed it.
So then I bailed out the con. So I'm not going to name names, comic historian. He was supposed to do a panel of X-Men comics at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And he told the con people that he was too sick to do it. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't sick. I'm just saying he was in a booth right next to us and looked like he was totally fine. And he just basically fucked over the con. So I did it, and it was with Greg Capello and Adam Kubert. And they're both really great artists. And Greg Capello was super fun. And he was a guy you want to do panels with because you could ask him a question, and he talked for 5 minutes.
He drew the New 52 Batman with Scott Snyder, right?
Yeah.
So Court of Owls and stuff.
Exactly. So he hasn't done X-Men, he said, and he only did X-Force. He hasn't done it in 25 years. So I said, sweet, can I ask you about the Death of the Family? He said, oh, I'd love to hear that. He said it's hard for him to drawing team books is a pain in the ass. I said, yeah, but towards the end of it, you were drawing a team book because Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing. He's like, don't fucking tell me about it again. He started going off, and he talked about his working with Scott Snyder, and he says he's like the cutest guy in the world. And he's talking about, I don't know if you read the Batman comic Mr. Bloom. So it's a villain who's a flower.
I've seen the cover, yeah.
It's a great cover. And he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to make a flower scary? Scott, I don't know what you're saying to me, man. This is fucking stupid. And he went to this Scott Snyder impression where he said, no, I mean, flowers, sometimes they're really, and it was really great. And Adam Kubert is, he teaches at the Kubert Art Institute that his father started. So he's very methodical. And his answers, too, he was funny, took a long time. So it was a really fun panel. And people were laughing, and everyone was having fun. So the dude who was sick, in quotes, really missed out because those two guys were super cool, and they gave you like a wealth of knowledge. I mean, the last 15 minutes, they talked about books to pick up to become a better artist. Capello said, you can draw things, but really look how muscles move, pick up anatomy, and do all this stuff. So it was a really great panel. It touched a little bit on X-Men. It went more into what they're doing. Adam's working on Spider-Man, and Greg's been working on Batman forever. So he's doing, I think, Batman Metal right now, which is really cool because he gets to kind of create things. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I think we did really well. Zach, how was your experience?
As of the like a week prior, I was only supposed to do the one panel, which was KJ Appa from Riverdale. But I think it was the day before.
Yep.
You were able to score a sweet interview with Andre Gower and Ryan Lambert for the Monster Squad documentary, which is called Wolfman's Got Nards, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. You should check it out.
Awesome, yeah. By the way, I feel like an asshole because I did not engage with them or shake their hand and say hi or thank you for being good booth neighbors.
No,
because they were the
awesome
sweetest people on the planet. But
I'm gonna give a shout out to Andre's sister Carlina. She was amazing. She watched our booth when no one could be around.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I got handed two panels the day before. One was for Tony Medina and Stacey Robinson's graphic novel I Am Alfonso Jones, which I managed to pick up a copy on ebook by signing up for Amazon Kindle's unlimited service. So now I have that. So I'll be probably reading more. But the book's amazing, and then I read it in a night, and then I kept rereading it in the morning leading up to the panel. Went up there, and what was interesting is I don't know what was going on with scheduling because Ryan was listed on the panel because he was initially going to do it. but there was also another name on there, and it turned out to be another moderator. So rather than I talked to him. I said, like, dude, if you need me to fuck off, I'll fuck off. And he said the exact same thing. So I'm just like, well, I mean, like, what do we do? Because I'm like new to this, and he's just like, well, we can do it together. Do you want to just do that? We'll like sit on one bookend them basically, and we'll just shoot questions from each side. I was like, yeah, sure. So we got up there, did the panel, and I I sung the praises on the book because I fucking loved it. Like, it's a wonderful and very relevant book.
I think I have a conflict of interest in it. It's probably good you did that one.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Like, even like, I think you need to read it to talk about it with the panel. Like, I know sometimes some panels don't require prep. This particular one, especially with the way Tony was talking about it and the way Stacy was talking about it, like, it helps immensely to read the material and because of the subject matter. But the panel went great. I like shook Stacy and Tony's hands and got a picture with them, and then all throughout the con, Tony kept like, anytime I would pass by Tony, he would just go like give me a thumbs up, which I was just like, that's adorable. But anyway, so then the next panel, I had to go over to the Happy Harbor room, which was down the stairs across the hall. And there was some kind of miscommunication, I guess, like, because I texted Brad asking, like, is Ryan, like, still there with them or what's going on? But long story short, I ended up doing the panel. And I got the topic of the panel wrong at the top of the panel. And the author that was next to me, who wrote for DC, like, did the female version of Shade, I guess, she corrected me. And then I basically turned the whole panel into, look at these 5 accomplished graphic novelists / women, and then up here at the podium is a sad sack of male disappointment. Like, basically the tone. And then I made them the stars of the panel. And, like, it was only 7 people in there, but still, like, they're there to talk about their art. I think actually one of them on the very end, I can't remember her name, but she was, like, one of the writers for Wreck-It Ralph 2 and Moana. And it could have been easy for me to just kind of go to that, like, territory, but I'm just like, that's not what this is about. So, I kind of I had to basically kind of lead certain sections of it because there were not that many people and not many questions. But that panel went fine. They all shook my hand and said, like, oh, you did fine. Thank you for doing it. And, Saturday was, just meeting a bunch of, film school friends again and having them come by and say hi. Sunday come around, we do our panel. It's fun. It's awesome. I enjoyed it. And then I had to book it right to the main stage. Thank God, shout out, by the way, to Steve-O, the volunteer from the for the Real Heroes, because he got me where I needed to go right on time with plenty of time to prep. And I was sitting in I sat in the green room and just waited, and Ron Perlman's panel was right before, and I was like, my heartbeat was going, because it's not so much like having to interview a celebrity, it's more of just like, there are people in the audience and I have terrible stage fright unless it's like the podcast element where I know that I'm like with my friends and stuff. So, so Ken Reed from TV Guidance Counselor, who is doing the Ron Perlman thing, he goes into the green room. Ron Perlman comes in, grabs his phone, and like says goodbye to Ken, and then it's just me and Ken in the green room, and we talked, and he kind of helped take the edge off, because he was just like, I did the Riverdale panel yesterday with the full cast, and and we actually had a discussion about like one of the best Archie adaptations actually being Saved by the Bell, which I didn't even think about ever, and now that I think about it, it actually makes perfect sense when you look at it. So then I got there. Mr. Appa was right there at the stage with when they brought me over to him. Shook his hand, asked him, like, how do you want to do this? And he said, I'll follow your lead. And like, outside I said, okay. Inside I was just like, that's the fucking stupidest thing you could have said. Because, like, I shouldn't be allowed to lead anything. But anyway, they get me out there. I introduce him, and I spoke hyperbole about his performance on the show, because it's true. Like, he is, there's a reason why he's got popularity. Like, he is really good on that show. Like, the whole cast is, like, I mean, and I've kind of watched a little bit more since the last 2 weeks, but like, it's a CW show, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep going into it. I mean, who knows? But so anyway, I got him out here, and then like he flew with everything. Like, I don't know if he could tell if I was nervous or not, but he looked tired backstage. But then he came on stage, and he, like, the energy popped on. So, like, he's been doing this. Well, and he's been doing this con for 3 days, doing both signings and panels. So obviously he's tired. But he rolls with it, and I keep looking at the timer, trying to kind of make sure I'm following all the guidelines and whatnot. There were some good questions. Like someone actually asked him about a question about A Dog's Purpose, which he's in, and like I was just like, I did not think A Dog's Purpose was going to come up in the Riverdale Q&A, but here we are. And then the other one was like, if you could take anybody home from the Riverdale set, what would it be? And like I don't know if he understood the question because he had to re-ask it a couple times just to make sure he was clear with it. And then like a couple of people were yelling out Jughead, and I just turned to him and I was like, "It's Cole Sprouse, isn't it? That's who you want to take home from Riverdale." And then so he rolls with that. And then I wrapped him 2 minutes early, like spoke some more praise for him, and then got him out. But so we got up and he like power walked off the stage and just like directly beeline. But his two handlers turned around and looked at me and said, "Thank you." And then they turned back around and headed out. And my guess is just like they either had somewhere to be or he was just tired. Like I don't take it personally. I mean, at the end of the day, like if I was doing what he was doing for 3 days, I'd be a fucking
like me. I'd
be a fucking tired mess too. So, but he was sweet. I have no problem with it. But yeah, so it went fine. I mean, like now that I know how that room works, especially like how you select the questions according to like the way they choreograph it, like I'd be much better at it next year. But it was good to kind of break that. It was not something I ever thought I'd do in my life, which was moderate a panel like that. So it was very interesting. So I mean, thank you, Ryan, for letting me for having enough confidence in me to do it.
It's more thank you because I didn't look when they wrote the schedule that they overlapped, and I was like, "Fuck."
I will say though, my favorite part of the con, out of anything other than our show, obviously, was we did an interview with Brian Cummings, who was 2 booths away from us, and he's a voice artist, and the thing that stuck out to me was like he was the Stove in Beauty and the Beast, and he was also on a bunch of other different like animated shows, like from the Gummy Bears and so on and so forth, like in the 90s and early 2000s and stuff. But I guess he lives in Denver now, and Ryan and I were doing the interview, but Ryan had to go at some point during that interview to a panel, I think it was.
Bonnie Wright.
So he starts the interview, he kicks it off, and we're talking about like just basic questions about you would ask a voice artist. And I can't remember what led to this. I think it was him talking about his mentor, Dawes Butler. But that immediately makes a connection to Mel Blanc because like Dawes and Mel worked within that field together for years, with Mel obviously being the superstar. And then out of nowhere, Brian Cummings like tells a Jack Benny story, and like I was
Jack Benny.
Yeah, no, Brian was talking about it, but like it was you and me together, and I looked at I don't know if you remember the look on your face, but I do. It was a look of, gotta be kidding me.
It's like, oh man, he just opened up Pandora's box.
Oh God, like it's
where's
just,
Pinhead?
Or my thought was, it's like, oh my God, it's part of a cult. So, but when Ryan left, Brian and I talked for another like good 30 minutes and whatnot, and then I got his email. I sent him a link to Twombly actually because he sounded interested in it by the way I described it. So, and then
of course you did.
He's also doing something called The Herd out here in Denver, which is they're going to do old-time radio readings with other voice actors who live in Denver live on stage. And it's so that sounded pretty cool. So he's going to keep me updated on that. But
yeah. All in all, it was a really good con. You know, I had a lot of fun. We have a great interview with one of the writers from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh shit!
The one reason why I really like this, she was actually my gateway into the Monster Squad. Even though I think I could have probably done it without this part. So Carlina is Andre Gower's sister, and Susan Linden sat down, or Suzanne Linden, however you want to say it, sat down and started interviewing. And I started off because she wrote a book series, and it sounds really crazy, and she's kind of a out there personality. And then because I knew she wrote on Star Trek, and she said, "Do you want to start with that?" I said, "Well, no, let's talk about what we're really doing and what you're doing now." So she talked about her book, and then then when I segued it into working for Paramount, because not only she worked for Star Trek, she used to work for Paramount. She went and revealed some very interesting things, which is a great interview, which hopefully will be up soon. And Carlina was very intent in listening, and she told me, and it was a great way to get into talking to her and Andre and Ryan, and she's such a wonderful lady. And this is also, I want to give her a shout out too. So I had that interview when Zach covered those 2 panels with them in the green room. So the media center, the media place in Denver Comic Con, there's 2 levels of media. There's tier 1, which we're not, don't know, and then there's just us, just media people. Everybody else. And so they have a media area, and so I'm waiting to interview Andre and Ryan. And so I'm like last in line there because I had an interview before. And so when I get there, everybody's already standing there waiting. And so I was like, fuck, there's no way I'm going to make this other panel. So I'm sitting there and there's 3 people left. And I said, well, can I go in there and sit down and wait for them? And the lady, not her fault, as a volunteer at Denver Comic Con, says, no, you're not tier 1 media. You can't be in this room. I said, really? I said, all right, whatever. So I'm sitting there waiting. And Carlina is sitting down at the sofa before you get into the green room, just waiting for one interview to end. She looks over and she says, Ryan, what are you doing? I said, oh, they won't let me come in here. I'm not tier 1 media. She's like, you can come in. Come sit next to me. You're with me. So she brought me into the media thing, sat down, talked to me. She's a wonderful lady. She's an executive producer on Wolfman's Got Nards. Wolfman's Got Nards is a documentary he made. It's not about the Monster Squad. It is, but it's not. It's about the fans' experience with the movie that's changed someone's life and its resurgence after they around the 20th anniversary with the help of Alamo Drafthouse. And it's a really moving documentary. Everybody should go see it. Right now it's doing the festival circuit. So I think it's in Chicago this week. So if you have a chance to see Wolfman's Got Nards, go see it. Andre is the director of it. It's really good. And I loved his sister, and she was so nice, and they were so gracious. He bought a shirt. Andre bought a shirt from us. So he bought the last male medium, I think, because there's the last one on the table. So he bought that one, and he said they were badass. And because I said, because I couldn't find it, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, we don't have any more men's shirts.
Yeah.
And so I was flipping. He's like, no, can you guys take an order and send it to me? I said, I think we're doing that. And he said, okay, yeah, let's just do that. And then I just happened to move this one shirt. I'm like, I think this is a medium male. And I picked it up, and it was. So he was super stoked about it. And he was so nice. And so, yeah, they're just cool dudes. And then they gave me a signed 8x10.
He just needed a napkin for his meal.
And they also signed their like placard, and he put on it, I'm a real nerd too. Just nice people. I mean, and
a fucker stepped on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so me and Brad are packing up, and I set it near on the stairs where me and Brad are running up and down and putting stuff in the back of his car.
In the loading dock.
And this dude and this chick walk and step on it. Just step on it. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyways, so they're really great people. When they come back they think they're going to do another tour with the actual documentary, because in the documentary they show them going to all 17 Alamos in 17 days. So now they're going to go back and show the documentary at Alamos, and they want to hit us up for that. And they're really great people. We have the interview with them, and it'll be up soon. I just really liked them. Very nice. For people, and if you listen to Real Nerds Film Splosion 1987, you will hear my number 1 movie of 1987 is The Monster Squad.
You'll also hear me sweep that selection at number 5.
Yes, that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind
as long as it's on the list.
Exactly.
It's like Spider-Man with your
yeah. I don't care.
I still haven't seen it.
I know. You have to.
It's fine, Brad. You can be a terrible human being if
yeah,
you want. It's totally
great.
fine.
You don't need to see the movie to watch the documentary. Documentary also interviews Shane Black, because he wrote it. So a lot of people that were involved. It's really great.
Fred Decker,
who directed it, and he said, and Fred Decker says it's his best movie, but he doesn't know how to feel about it. It's a really poignant. I think it might be the last thing in the film, and it's really poignant. And he said, it's like you take a shot in a basketball game and it doesn't go in for 20 years, and you don't know how you feel after it's gone in because you've waited so long for people to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Like, wow. And Andre also told me off our show that he's seen some of Predator. So,
but yeah, no,
so all in all, great con.
It was a great con. And I got you a button, and I got myself a button too. Both Mickey buttons.
Yes. So thank you everybody who stopped by. Thank you everybody who took time.
Hey Brad, how was your time at the con? Oh, we don't care. Bye.
You just did fan stuff.
What?
Let's talk about your Ninja Turtle stuff.
You met my absent father, Kevin Eastman.
I on Friday morning I screened Cardigan Sorrow.
That's right.
In one of the
Oh,
panel
yeah,
rooms,
yeah.
and a bunch of student film people said they wanted to come on and do the 48 with us. So,
You were like,
still waiting for those.
Put 'em to
emails.
work.
Yeah. Get some PAs on there, and then
everybody work.
and I did the after party thing in the main room where I guess there were like 3 comedians. Adam Kane Holland was one of them. He did a great set, and then the Aquabats performed, and I had never heard their music before, and that was just fun to watch because I guess they had
They're pretty
Adult
popular.
Swim show or something. And yeah, they're funny. So
I saw some cosplayers as the Aquabats.
yeah. Well, they also had like a table near us
Did they?
apparently the whole time. So yeah, and then Saturday, we've done this con 6-7 times now, and most of the time I get to just sit in the back and make sure everything's running okay. So Saturday I took the day off and just cosplayed as Casey Jones, and this year I had like most years I didn't have like someone in pop culture that I'm like, oh, I have to go see them. But this year Kevin Eastman was in my neck of the woods, and I've seen him twice out, in other cities. And like the last time was in New York in like 2009. And so like since then, he's jumped on the IDW Ninja Turtles, books and done tons of variant covers that I'll never fully collect. But yeah, he had his own thing there, and his wife is there, and she's so nice, like running everything like behind the scenes, and they're great with fans and just open to like signing weird things, and so I just spent the whole day getting pulled aside in hallways for pictures as Casey Jones, and then at the end of the day, this couple, like after you guys left, I was finishing like packing up the booth or whatever, and they insisted that they buy my mask from me, and I tried to like tell them, it's only $30 online, just go buy it. But they insisted they wanted this one, so I had to like haggle with them for a bit, So that was
Weird.
Yeah, I kept trying to like
But flattering,
figure out
right?
like why do you want this? And, like we just want it, we
They
have
want to
this-
sniff it at night.
Yeah, I figured it's like some weird sex game, or like they immediately offered money, so I figured it's like this rich person scavenger hunt where they just like prey on poor people, like buy stupid shit, and then take it back, and then they all I don't know.
That's a great idea for a movie.
Run
Rich
a
people
scorecard.
scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but I think it's a real thing. Like when you have absurd amount of money, like they just do weird shit like that.
Ryan, that's the family version of the movie 31.
Or if they say Fidelio to you, fucking house.
Yeah, and then
Eyes Wide Shut fans out there.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Hello, Kubrick. Hello.
and then also from Kevin Eastman, I got these. I was first in line. The first thing I did on Saturday morning was jump.
Was he only there Saturday and Sunday?
He was there Saturday and Sunday only, but he only set up his booth the con opened at 10 for everybody, and I don't think he got to the booth until 10:30. And so there was no sign, but like once he finally showed up, they just kind of his wife was still unpacking all the boxes and putting stuff on the table, but like while I was signing. So the first thing she laid out was they had these 2 like $1,000 collections of all the art he did for the Batman Ninja Turtles combo team up thing, and then also I guess he did some covers for Dark Knight 3: The Master Race. So it was like $1,000 collection of all these. And then he also had like a scrapbook of the full 11x17 like comic pages, which were all in black and white and just gorgeous. But they were like $4,000 for like one sheet for some of them. But there was also just like sometimes they publish those comics where it's a blank cover, but it's got the title and everything on it. And so he just drew, each of the turtles, and then like I got the Shredder one because I was first in line, which was badass.
That
and
one's maybe my favorite one.
As soon as I saw it, it said $150 on the cover, but I was like,
original art
money's no
doesn't
object
matter.
on this one. Yeah,
That's
so
cheap for original art.
yeah, and then he also did like the second guy in line because he also did like Daredevil and Electro with the Turtles, which isn't a thing I think they've done professionally through IDW. So yeah, custom stuff like that, like you got to jump on it. So I scored those books, and
didn't you say too? He said he probably is not going to do another con like this. Just stay on the coast.
yeah, on the second day, I came back to see like what was left if I could buy anything else, and I overheard this conversation where his wife was talking to some fans, and like at that point is something about like, yeah, we can't really travel around that much anymore. So who knows if they'll they live in San Diego, so they might just do a lot of like California small cons.
Well, hopefully, because it sounds like he's pretty successful here, so hopefully he'll want to come back.
I think every year they do a big tour because one of the merchandise things was they have a T-shirt. It's like a rock concert T-shirt, but it's for Team Eastman, and so they have all the tour dates on the back, and some of them are like Canada and Russia. I think some Asian countries too.
I love turtle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What you need him to do is if he comes back is autograph on your arm a turtle and his autograph and get it tattooed.
Yeah, I told people that story. How I screwed that one up.
I was just bringing up an old wound.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's all good. Live and learn. And then Sunday we had our panel, which was fun.
Yeah.
A little distressing that laptop sucks.
Oh, that's all right.
It took so long to
It
start
worked.
up, but yeah, eventually worked, and that was fun.
Hey, I have it. That isn't my first panel.
But it was cool. I wish I dressed up as Shredder for the second day. Like I didn't because I was like, I got to look like us for the panel. But then I thought about it if people had been walking by our room because we also had like the double wide room this year. They probably would have seen like you three and then Shredder on stage. Like they'd be like, oh, even more interested to go and like, what the hell is this? So
yeah, we did well. Quick shout out, James isn't here, but he had to fly in, come to the panel, plan his wedding, and still rocked it out. He did really well.
I know he could have just like not done anything Friday, but he still showed up. So
we still showed up and still helped us out. So thanks, James.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody at the con who has faith in us. Thank you for coming up, even though.
Also, thanks for buying shirts.
Oh yeah,
like we sold out of all the men's ones, and now I know to not buy any women's shirts because the women still want the men's ones.
Yep.
And people laughed at me for buying so many large sizes, but apparently I was right, and people need the larger sizes.
So we got it. So yeah, no, great job designing it. I think and it helped that they put it in the program. So now we know we can put it in a program because they like your design and they like us. And I think everybody at Denver Comic Con, they do their jobs hard and they were very nice to us as always. So let's start the show like we do every week. Tell everyone how great I am. That was a long intro. Sorry, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.
An hour in already.
Yeah, reminiscing about us. So we're going to unspool some real news.
It's real news.
I'm going to start this off by asking Brad a question. How many Star Trek shows are we going to be getting now from CBS All Access?
Whichever ones actually go to development.
Okay, right on. Because, this is what I'm reading from Alex Kurtzman, the current showrunner, and then Akiva Goldsman, the former showrunner. Amongst the things they were developing was a reboot of Picard.
Not a reboot, just a new series with old Picard. But they've done this before with Worf.
Oh, it says Stewart-led reboot. Well, anyway, I'm just wondering because I thought Picard was put to rest for something by Stewart, or maybe that's just Xavier and not. I don't know. Yeah, I thought he was done doing his sci-fi characters.
I've never heard him say he's done with Picard.
Yeah.
I think it's just the show ran its course, really, right?
Well, I mean, they had 7 seasons of Next Generation.
That's what I mean.
And 4 movies, so
maybe
he has nothing else to prove as Picard. But I mean, if he wants to come back, and I can't see him doing like a whole series.
Would you say he's more popular than Kirk now?
No, because the reboots I think have ignited the original series back to prominence. So
can't we just like them both?
And actually, in what we've been watching, I have a lot of stuff to talk about Kirk this week. So
nice.
But yeah, like I read that report too. But when you have 5 shows in development, it's like how many are actually going to make it, if even one? Mm-hmm. And it just sounds like sometimes to sell an idea, you got to have some like a name attached to it. So they say Picard will be on it, but it'll probably take like 2 or 3 years to even get it
written, but to get to shooting phases.
Yeah, and who knows where he'll be at, in 2 years. If he'll even want to do it. If he does do it, like I think it'll be like DeForest Kelley, like he's in the first episode of Next Gen. Mm-hmm. So he might be like a part of it briefly, but then it'll just be to pass the torch to other actors to take on the series.
Okay.
So I can't imagine he'd be down for like a 10 episode run.
Okay. Cool. I'm just wondering.
Have they ever done anything like a Starfleet Academy show?
I guess Enterprise would be the closest thing to that.
I feel like that'd be like an easy show to like do.
For years they wanted to sell. For years they wanted to do young Kirk and Spock at Starfleet Academy, which eventually just became the reboot movie.
But we only get a certain section of them. Like it's a tiny section of the vast film in general. So
Yeah.
they're not at the Academy that long.
I mean, it's like I feel like if they did like a Smallville-esque show like around Star Trek,
Yeah,
that
like
would be
CW
a pretty
Star Trek.
I feel like that'd be a pretty popular.
Please
type
don't
series.
bring Star Trek to the CW.
Well, I mean, it'd be a CBS All Access show.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be right up their alley. I'm surprised
yeah.
they've not done that yet.
Yeah, steamy Starfleet sex.
But I'd like to see them get away from going back into the past. Like Star
Yeah.
Trek's about the future, and everything lately has just been like, what was all these characters but before? Mm-hmm. And I think it's just kind of running its course. Like Discovery's fine,
But
it's beholden to like it's weird because they don't have to, but they also like advance technology for like they don't just hold themselves to the original series tropes. Like they advance technology and characters and like change the timeline. So I'd rather them just jump ahead and just keep progressing. And Star Trek's about progress, so it's weird that they focus so much on going back and just filling in holes of stories that they've heard before.
Mm-hmm. For sure. In other news, Kevin Spacey's got a new movie coming out this summer. Oh, but wait a minute. It's one he shot 2 years before we found out he was a monster. The Billionaire Boys Club, which was a film that also starred his co-star from Baby Driver, Ansel Elgort, which is about a bunch of people who get rich through a Ponzi scheme. It's based on a true story. They released a trailer, and I guess it's getting a limited theatrical and a VOD release. And the North American distributor, Vertical Entertainment, kind of basically said, like, look, we understand that he's in it, but that shouldn't tarnish the rest of the work that the other people around him did. So, I guess good for them. I mean, trailer looked like whatever. But
I mean, it's also they probably spent millions of dollars on the film. They're not just going to not release
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
that's the tough part.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the got nothing scenario on that one.
Kevin
Billionaire
Spacey's
Boys
not going to go
fans.
away. I mean, I still like Baby Driver.
Yeah, well, so
He's won 2 Oscars, so it's like it's kind of too late to forget him.
Not that I want to like defend Kevin Spacey, but like you just said, he's a monster for like hitting on a he hit on that guy, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess.
But then there's like actual rapists. you
Yeah.
know?
yeah. Well, no, it's more of just like the attitude everyone surrounds it with is just like, oh, he's one of them.
Yeah,
So.
it's not admirable. I'm not defending that. But
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
no.
I think there's levels of like.
Yeah.
Well, and also the way he
I
handled.
think it's because he propositioned a 14-year-old is like the big.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then there's also like how he tries to apologize for it.
And how did Seth MacFarlane know?
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we forget that this also happened to Rob Lowe, and we're still pretty okay with Rob Lowe now. So, like, who knows what the future holds for people?
Kevin Spacey went away. I don't know if it's time for him to kind of maybe talk about it, see what happens. Because I guess he said he didn't remember it as. I mean, his statement was weird, so I don't know.
Shitty, but yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Paramount continues to troll Brad as they're going to make a third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie with their Platinum Dunes deal. So yeah, Brad.
Again, it's really early. A lot of speculation.
Here's
We'll
the thing:
see.
is they will make one because it's a brand it's a brand everybody knows. They will always make a Ninja Turtles movie.
People have been asking me about this, but I feel like it's never going to work because they want to make it, this blockbuster like Star Wars or Marvel like level gross. But I don't like as a fan.
It won't.
I don't think it's a property that lends itself to that. Like it's not impossible, but I just feel like it comes from an indie background. I think the most like the biggest you can get is if you embrace the Dimension X side of it and go like space hopping a la Guardians of the Galaxy style. But then it gets like really far fetched, and the budget has to get higher because you have to do a ton of green screen stuff.
Yeah, I just don't know why they just don't make a movie with a cool Shredder.
The first one's not cool.
I mean, if they're going to make a new one,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he's an iconic villain. Everybody knows who he is. Make it a badass Shredder fighting the Foot Clan. You could just remake the first one with better filmmaking ability.
I think Steve Barron did a great job on the first. Like, if you read the comics, like that's a black and white comic, and he translated it to, and they pulled in some of the like the different colored masks and stuff, so they embraced both the cartoon and the comics in that movie. But yeah, it's they're Ninja Turtles, and like the second one's out of the shadows, so they're like embraced by the NYPD. Like, keep them in the darkness. Like, make them a mystery. You know, not have the Shredder. Like, yeah, he's trying to take over the world, but in the first one, it's like
I think that's why
by seducing kids and making them villains. And
I think that's why the first one works so well because it's street level.
Yeah,
you know,
like all this stuff is happening behind the scenes. You know, day-to-day New York life is going on. And there's like this criminal underbelly. Like, that's way more interesting than, you know, buildings being blown up and
Yep.
It's also, I mean, like, my brother's 9 and he loves those films, so it's like
the new ones.
Yeah. So it's like it might just be that like the new films are for a different audience.
Well, that too. I mean, what did the first reboot make? Like $250 million? That's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, because they had that freshness of like, here's this new thing, and you know, what's it going to be? And then they decided they didn't like it, and they still put the second one out. And even though I think the second one's better because the first one tried too hard to be too different, and so the second one embracing more of the cartoon really helped them back on track. But by then the damage had been done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you already lost people with the first one, and they weren't interested enough to come back for the other one. But yeah, I think if they try to go like a Guardians of the Galaxy route with the Turtles, and because there's in the original comics when they started getting like other indie artists on, you know, they have like Wild Things, you know, going around space and encountering like different creatures and mutants and things. I think if that'd be the only way to go to like a blockbuster level. Yeah.
Cool. Newly announced this week, Robert Zemeckis is going to helm a remake of The Witches, which is a book from Roald Dahl.
It's my favorite Roald Dahl book.
And Guillermo del Toro and Alfonso Cuarón will be producing it.
I actually think the original movie is pretty fun too.
With Angelica Houston.
Yeah, I love Roald Dahl. When I was growing up, I loved his books. Matilda, the BFG. The Witches was my favorite because it's kind of dark and sinister. Mm-hmm. And what's the name of his artist that works with him? I can't remember his name. He's a great artist, though. Very cartoony, but also did a really good job capturing the feel of the books. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes me excited.
Cool. Awesome.
Brian, have you ever read My Uncle Oswald?
No.
It's a Roald Dahl. I started reading it like recently. It's Roald Dahl's only adult novel. It's a very like sex comedy. I think you might be into it.
Yeah, you know, I will read it because I'm not a big novel person. I read really historical biographies, but I'll read it because I like Roald Dahl.
Just an update on a story we've been covering since it first popped up. Fox has accepted Disney's $71.3 billion bid for 21st Century Fox, topping Comcast. So suck it, Comcast.
It's so much money.
You can't top that mouse money.
By comparison, Star Wars was $4 billion.
Mm-hmm.
This is $71 billion.
Well, that's so many assets, and there's several
offshoots. I'm making a comparison.
Yeah.
It's not like that's stupid.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I was reading a story too that Disney, they're opening up Toy Story Land this year.
The Pixar Pier?
And the Pixar Pier.
Oh, God, this story.
And so now they're going to start offering dynamic pricing where they're going to charge you twice as much and only let half as many people in. So they're still going to make so if the tickets are $100, they're going to charge $200 for them and only let half as many people in. So they're still making the same amount as money with half as many people in the park. And they're only doing that on certain days because they know people will pay it and they know they'll make the same amount. And they're trying to create a better experience for the people that go and are willing to pay that much money to do it.
Which kind of actually does. I mean, I know that sounds like egregious, but at the same time, like, that park gets fucking crowded.
Oh yeah, Disneyland is unbelievable.
So therefore, like, it would behoove them to cordon off days like that.
But I also heard they're struggling with it too because one of Walt's original visions is anybody can go to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you do that, you're basically putting elites in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
elites only.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll actually do it, but that was one of the kind of things that are floating around.
On Twitter, I saw someone posted their ticket from like Universal Studios. I think in the 80s. It's $10.
Yeah.
One commented on this story. Walt Disney said, "I'm fucking dead. What does it matter?"
Well, if you care about them.
Well, I mean, it's like one thing. Also, like, it costs that much to buy it, and even though they're paying that much money, they're not going into debt at all, which shows how much money they fucking.
Oh, it's
have.
unbelievable! It's when they bought Marvel for $4 billion, you're like, oh, that makes sense, and then they have one movie that makes $2 billion. Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, those two movies cost, I was reading, $1 billion to make, but they're already $1 billion in profit on it.
And that's only one of the films.
And it's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We have Ant-Man and Wasp. I'm guessing that one's probably $130 million to make.
Around there, yeah.
Because Black Panther, I think, was like 150.
Yeah.
So
Ant-Man will probably make around like 300 to 400 million, just
We'll
based
see.
off of hype and whatnot. I don't think it would do
Oh,
the
it's not
levels of
going
other
to.
ones
I mean-
because it's
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
it's Ant-Man, but it's also just because it's quirkier. But who knows?
You know you're going to make money. It is an unbelievable. They're saying there was the story that people, they might slow down on the Star Wars. Fuck no, they're not. Solo's not going to make any money. It's still going to make over $600 million worldwide.
No, but that news for that matter is just like they're reassessing the
They're
spin-off
not.
films.
They came out like, no, we're not. We're
Oh,
still
they did?
doing it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're still doing it. We don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, there's something to cut James Mangold off of Boba Fett. I doubt it.
Yeah, no way. They're still coming out. I guarantee you when Star Wars Episode 9 is just about done, they're like, we're starting filming Boba Fett. There's no way. They're just going to push it maybe to December, not release it in May.
Yeah. And they're probably definitely done with like experimental directors.
Oh, yeah. So, sure.
So, and then the last piece of news, because we've dealt with the travails of MoviePass, and we will definitely be talking about them in a upcoming segment. But AMC Theaters subscription service will completely directly compete with MoviePass. Their plans, I read the FAQ on it on their website, and it starts on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think this week.
And basically, it's $19.99 a month for 3 movies a week. So you don't get to go every day, which is MoviePass's claim to fame for $9 a month. Here's the thing. I'm more down with this plan than MoviePass's plan because I can see AMC. I know it exists. I know it's a thing. MoviePass looks like that kind of ad that I find on a junk website. It doesn't entice me to want to utilize its services. I understand you use it fine.
I'll defend it in a second.
Right, but you have had problems with them. I'm pointing to Brad.
Explain to me.
But I like this one just in the simple fact of like it coordinates better with
It's tangible.
Yeah, to me, yeah, I can actually like see it. But I do understand the appeal to MoviePass, and I know that argument. Well, I can go every day. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like, what's your job? What do you do that you can go to the movies every day? I can't.
Yeah, like right now, I at most I probably do see like 3 movies a week sometimes. So I'm basically saving like 1 ticket out of those 3. Mm-hmm. Does it have anything about food or?
Yeah, because it's lumped in with their AMC
With their
stubs.
so you'd become like a Stubbs Premier A-lister.
So you also get, $5 every 50 you spend? Something like that.
Yeah.
And you get free upgrades. So if you buy a small, you get a medium. You buy a medium, you get a large.
So you get a large for small price?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. And you don't have to wait in line. Like, they have things cornered off. It's like, hey, you can come over here.
Or they have like a separate line for like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which no one fucking honors.
Yeah. I mean, they don't honor it.
They
but
don't check it. I mean,
exists.
like...
I get in the peasant line, I still see everyone else going through the VIP line.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
But yeah, I mean, did you want to defend it?
I mean, no, I mean, like, I like MoviePass. I've had 0 problems with it. I mean, for me, like, I did, like, a regular ticket in New York costs $18.
Right.
So, like, and I see, like, more than 3 films a week usually.
Well, yeah.
And so, like, for me, I did the math. I've saved $500 using MoviePass.
Wow.
And like the other complaints for MoviePass being the whole like you can't do IMAX or that kind of stuff. Literally last night they revealed that you're allowed to do IMAX now.
But they charge you, though, right?
IMAX, it's like a $2 plus surcharge.
I guess my biggest problem with MoviePass, too, is they constantly change their terms and conditions. So, I mean, was it for like a month you could only see 1 movie a week, but you got free iHeartRadio?
Well, yeah, that was only if you signed up at that point, though.
Yeah, so they're still like, fuck the new people. So it's the old thing, like if you have AT&T, they're not going to give you unlimited data if you've been grandfathered in. I don't know.
It's worked very well for me. I've had 0 issues with it.
Right on.
So,
Well, hopefully it'll stay around.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the other thing with AMC, you can only see AMCs, and the AMCs in New York are god-awful. And so...
But they're on tall buildings.
The AMC in Times Square has graffiti on the seats. So I don't go. And there's also a Regal literally across the street from that one. So
I mean, it's New York. I expect some street art from some up-and-coming hoodlum.
you sound like someone who's never been to New York. So
Is it graffiti or tag, Henry?
it's both.
I've only been twice in my life, and I was a child. Anyway, that's news.
These are movies coming out.
Wait. You didn't pick up on the Last Jedi remake campaign?
Oh, shit, that's right. There's a petition going on to remake The Last Jedi.
I want them to waste all their money.
Not a petition.
Oh, well, it's
and
like
already apparently $200 million funded remake.
Yeah, they're saying, like, we'll fund the whole thing.
Yeah, it's already
who's
to
this?
go.
Who's funding this?
I can't remember.
Some jerk-offs who...
I want to see it. I want them to waste $200
apparently
million.
raised $200 million to remake a movie instead of like funding people's cancer treatments. Or...
Ryan Johnson's response was a tweet that said, "Please, please, 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 please."
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
With that much money, you could open your own film studio
They're
for
gonna
a year.
they're going to crowdsource the script, which too many cooks in the kitchen apparently doesn't apply to these people.
Like I said, I want to see it. I want to. Actually, I don't want to see it. I want to see that movie get made, waste $200 million, and those guys jump off bridges because you're not figuratively because you don't agree with the director. He got the right response from you then because he made a film that you're talking about. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's not a good film.
Well, also, just business perspective wise, even if you didn't like it, isn't it the highest grossing film of 2018 or 2017?
Yeah.
So clearly, Disney's not real worried about it.
No, and that's the thing is, you can sit there and hate all you want on it, but it's my second favorite Star Wars film. So
the only reason it remains a subject on the internet is because we keep feeding it. You know, it's like that plant in Little Shop of Horrors. Stop feeding it and chop its fucking head off by ignoring it.
And do you really think, because you've already got $200 million, Disney's going to let you play with their IP?
Yeah, it seems as if though they've forgotten how the law works. But anyway,
Also, try to make a Star Wars film.
yeah,
This isn't some easy I'll do it on the weekends thing.
Watch the director in the Jedi documentary about making The Last Jedi, and then see if you don't pull your own hair out.
yeah, because I want to see them just pull off one shot of a Starship Destroyer moving across the screen convincingly.
he'll be like that video Brad and I made this afternoon. It's just going to be a toy ship going across a black screen.
But I'm serious. Convince me that you can actually do it because I don't believe you.
Also, you think by shitting on The Last Jedi, you're going to get Mark Hamill to join you, and apparently you think the shots with Carrie Fisher still work in your movie.
Yeah,
That Ryan Johnson did, so
It's trolls. It's racist, sexist trolls.
it's got to be like a joke thing.
Yeah.
Just to get attention
just
to
idiots.
a Twitter account.
No. But anyway.
so I hope they waste $200 million.
Anyway, I didn't want to talk about it because I don't like giving trolls attention. But that's news.
We listen to you every week, Zach.
Oh, that's true.
Do I have to hear about Twombly again? Fuck.
But I'm a mystical troll, not an internet troll.
Gotcha.
Yes.
What's coming out on Blu-ray?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
We were gone last week, but as a heads up, if you missed Pacific Rim Uprising, you can get that on 4K and Blu-ray now. So
Do you need to get it?
I was going to say, I didn't see it, but I certainly didn't miss it.
You
So,
did not miss it.
I
I mean,
like-
if you want to see Scott Eastwood not know how to act, then get it.
I liked it.
I can already see the latest Fast and the Furious movie. So
Um,
I just don't buy him as a badass.
really, the only thing from this week, though, is the Benson Moorhead film, The Endless. The guys who did Spring from Draft House Selects. That's coming to Blu-ray. No 4K. I don't know if it's neon. It doesn't say, but it didn't say when I clicked on it. But on the 4K front, though, Groundhog Day in 4K. So if you want to pick that up, you can. Mission Impossibles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are getting their 4K releases.
Which sucks. They don't put them in a set, and they're each like $27. It's like $150 for the set.
Tom Cruise needs a boat, man.
Wait till Christmas. I can see
Oh,
that
I'm
being
not-
like a box.
I'm not going to buy them.
Even if they're like $10 each.
Well, if they're $10 each, I will.
Also on the Cruise front, you can get Jack Reacher on 4K. So
Nice.
there you go. The rest of the releases, though, are back catalog titles coming from the various specialty labels. Criterion's putting out The Virgin Spring, which is a reissue of something they've already done on DVD before. Their newest one, however, is John Waters' Female Trouble, which I will definitely be picking up because that's my favorite John Waters film. From Warner Archive, they're putting out Superfly for the first time on Blu-ray in their archive collection. And they're also doing The Colossus of Rhodes. And then moving to the Scream Factory front, The Curse of the Cat People from Val Lewton, which I will definitely be picking up. And then also their Pink Panther cartoon collection.
Yeah, it's Kino Lorber.
It's Kino Lorber? I thought Shout was doing it. Oh, never mind. Anyway, Kino Lorber is putting out the Pink Panther cartoon collection on Blu-ray.
It's Volume 2?
Volume 2, yeah. So, sorry, it's hard to see there. Sleepless in Seattle is getting a
25th anniversary. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I'm fucking old.
Oh,
That
gosh.
film's older than me.
Oh, no. And then some reissues of some Harry Potter stuff, so you can get like in 2-packs. So I can get Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone together, and then Azkaban and Goblet. Yeah, I mean, Brian's got a better collection of Harry Potter Blu-rays than anyone because they're the
ultimate ones.
Yeah. So, and then yeah, that's pretty much Blu-rays.
You missed Escape Plan 2 is coming out with Sylvester Stallone and Dave
80s.
Bautista.
Apparently, that's not really. What you say? That's not even a U.S. production, Henry. That's a Chinese
It was released
production.
in China.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
of course.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then there's a huge Puppet Master box set.
that's not on my Blu-ray.com here.
Is that?
Yeah, Puppet Master Collection, Toulon's Ultimate Collectible Trunk Set.
Ooh. Those, I remember renting the first couple ones.
Well, you're on
from
Amazon, but-
Blockbuster.
There's literally
They're
no.
okay. It's basically Charles Band. He also did dolls in the 80s. So he basically took the same concept and just made them puppets. One's has a drilling head. One's a doctor with a hook. That's pretty awesome.
It's a pretty cool set.
Yeah,
Gorgeous
that's neat.
set.
Yeah.
It's Charlie.
Wow.
That's pretty neat for Charlie Band.
Isn't, from The Room, he's in one of these movies, right?
Oh, Greg Sestero.
Greg
Yeah,
Sestero,
I think
yeah.
he's in the 5th one.
The most maligned one.
Yeah.
The fifth one is they re-edited a bunch of scenes from the previous ones and then shot stuff with Greg Sestero
Yeah.
and like integrated it in. So it's basically Puppet Master Greatest Hits.
Someone on Shockwave saw the newest one at a festival, and he said it's fucking nuts. like even more nuts than a Puppet Master movie is usually. So
All right.
I can't remember the exact. Like all I remember is he saying it's fucking nuts and it involves Nazi puppets. So, but anyway, that's Blu-rays.
Awesome. We also watch movies throughout the week in a segment I call What We've Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Brad, what'd you watch this week?
Let's see. I guess I'll just start with so William Shatner came to Denver. And
I did.
What?
I did come to Denver.
I guess your impression did not impress Brad. He's like, what the fuck are you saying?
That did not sound like William Shatner at all.
Shut up.
You're not helping your cause at all.
It's making it worse. And so they screened Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan in the
Great
Paramount Theater. Yeah, which is this one. They I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention, but this one it felt like it had extended scenes that I hadn't seen before. So like, if you haven't, I think it's on the Nicholas Meyer director's cut. So there's the subplot of Scotty's like nephew. Got cut out of the theatrical release. So if you watch the director's cut,
Yeah.
that one engineer guy is actually his nephew. So spoilers, he dies in the conflict. And after he dies on the table in sick bay, Scotty leaves, and then Bones and Kirk have like extended. This is the part I didn't feel like I'd seen before. They have this like extended discussion, but it's all stuff reiterating the plot. So, which I'm like, oh, that's good. They cut that because they're just making the movie longer without adding anything new. And then he like walks out the door, but I think the theatrical cut it just ends with Scotty saying something, and they just cut to like the next scene. So stuff like there were scenes like that where it felt added, and then the crowd was probably a little too into it because every time when the movie started, all the credits come on screen, and they like cheered for every credit. So I'm like even the editor and stuff.
Production designer.
It's like, okay, guys, we get it. We like this movie.
Catered by Hollywood Eats. Yeah.
But then like the best stuff that happens in the movie, and then it's cool to see that movie and like audience cheering and stuff. Just watching the movie and just like how, just like there's not like a wasted thing going on in the movie.
No, it's a tight movie.
It's a tight movie. It's like just so smart, and like the cat and mouse game of like Kirk or Khan gets the drop on Kirk, and then Kirk finds a way to like counter that, and then Khan gets another upper hand. Then Kirk gets him back when him and Spock use the secret codes, and then even after Kirk gets him, Khan like activates the Genesis. It's like that's just a great hero villain dynamic that you usually just see like the heroes conquering in movies.
That's the thing on Khan's arc. I always feel bad for his second in command because he's just like giving all the logical answers, and Khan's just like, "No, damn you!"
Yeah, the whole Moby Dick revenge, like
he's the one bad guy in cinema I feel bad for.
And also just like using the idea of like when Spock says like he's using 2-dimensional thinking. Khan's like a genetically engineered 21st century character who's hell-bent on just like one goal, and Kirk and everyone else is like 23rd century people, and like, oh yeah, why don't we just, it's also space, so you're not flying on the same plane, so that to actually like that's just like a smart it's a smart script. And so then after that William Shatner comes out on stage, and it's like 10 o'clock at night for this like 80-year-old man, and he is not tired at all. And he doesn't look like he's, ready to use a cane.
Well, do you think they like woke him up? Like he just took a nap while the movie's going?
Yeah, he probably slept most of the day, but
they defroze him.
Yeah. During the Q&A though, like they talk about how prolific he still is. Like he still writes books, he still records albums. He's got 2 coming out this year. Wow. He has a ranch he raises horses on.
How long was the Q&A for?
It was about an hour and a half, I think.
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Maybe just an hour.
Yipers.
The only awkward part is like he's kind of like one of those guests who teases the host, and the host doesn't know how to like recover. So at times, like William Shatner is making like weird jokes, and the host doesn't know how to like deal with it. So that's kind of.
So he doesn't tour with the guy who's like normal with him.
I don't know. Apparently, like the guy who was doing is like a Denver like celebrity, but I didn't know who he was. He's either like a writer for something or
Dealin'
journalist. No. He's like a guy who comes in for like any celebrity who comes into the Paramount. So yeah, but you'd think he would have like his own Shatner. Like Shatner has his own guy for this.
Was it sold out?
I didn't really look at the audience, but it seemed like it.
Wow.
Maybe the front rows weren't full because it was probably like $100 to $200 for those seats. I was in the mezzanine. It was like $80. So
wow.
Yeah.
I would do that if I was William Shatner. How much money you can make just doing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was cool. Like this,
definitely an opportunity.
I think now I've seen all the living original cast members in person. So, but yeah, it's something where you're like, yeah, it's $80, but how long is he going to be around? So you got to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and I'll say that like William Shatner, for a man who's 80 years old, he looks incredible.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Like he's really spry. Like he comes out, he like he got a standing ovation immediately, right? But then he like sit down for the interview, but then he get up and like walk around the stage to tell the stories. And so when you go in, you had a chance to like write down a question on a card, and they collected them. Then the host would pull some out. No one really had any like great questions, and often they would ask one, but Shatner would tell a different story for it and not really answer it.
It's like I've heard this. I've been asked this question before. Good for him.
But some of his best stories were he was playing pranks on DeForest Kelley, like on I think the 5th movie. And DeForest Kelley, he was the first of the cast members to die. I think it was 99. So yeah, in the 80s, he's already like really frail and old. You can see it in the movies. He's like skin and bones.
Oh yeah.
Pun. Skin and bones.
I didn't intend that, but yes. Good thing you got that. So they're at craft services, and DeForest Kelley, I think the day before he comes up to William Shatner, he's like, I don't think I can do these scenes anymore. Like I can't remember the lines as well, and I think I'm losing my cognitive abilities. And then so the next day at craft services, William Shatner sees DeForest Kelley like make a bagel, put it in the toaster, and then Shatner finds one of the other cast members and tells him to distract DeForest Kelley for a bit. Shatner goes over, empties the toaster, throws out the bagel, and then DeForest Kelly comes back and he's like confused, like, I swear I just put a bagel in the toaster.
That's mean.
Yeah. And then so he cuts another one open, puts in the toaster, and then gets someone else. Shatner gets someone else to like pull him aside and distract him some more. Shatner goes back, pulls out, empties the toaster again. DeForest Kelly comes back, starts to have a crisis, and then realizes Shatner.
Damn it, Jim.
And then someone asked a question, but this wasn't the proper answer to it. He talks about how they had to, like, most of the original series was filmed in a studio, but on the rare occurrence they could actually go out on location and film, like, I guess the San Andreas desert or whatever is very alien-like in the series. So they go out there, and then, but in order to, like, the best lighting is sunrise, so he has to be, like, up at 4 a.m. to drive an hour out to the desert. So he dressed as Kirk before he does the drive, but he also likes to do 100 miles an hour in his car. So he's, like, driving to the desert, wearing his Kirk costume, doing 100 miles an hour, and he gets pulled over. And then this cop, wearing sunglasses at night for some reason, approaches him, asks for his license and registration, looks at him, makes the connection, and asks, like, what's the deal? What are you trying to do? And Shatner goes, like, I have to get to my spaceship. And then just goes back to his car, does the check, and it's like, gives him the nod that you can go.
I would.
Yeah.
If I pulled over William Shatner and told me he had to go film, you're good to go.
Yeah. So so that was cool.
Did the cop ask, can I go with you? And he said, you can't. Our next stop is the 23rd century.
Nope.
Damn it.
This is the first time I watched Hellboy 2.
Really?
Yeah.
First time ever?
After you talked about it on the top 3 comic books on our live show, it popped up on my Netflix, so I watched it, and it's okay.
I can predict Netflix things.
Yeah.
So really
they listen to our podcast, and so they're like, how they do
Yes.
how this get made.
So that's why they're
We're trying to
releasing
put
that
our-
Orson Welles movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, not superb for you, or
It just didn't it's the visual aspect is cool, but I just didn't think the story was that interesting.
Okay.
And it had a lot of lulls in between.
This is Hellboy 2.
Hellboy 2.
Golden Army.
Yeah.
To each his own. I like it.
Yeah, I can see where people would like it, but I just couldn't get into it. Yeah.
Same thing. I think the production design, the creatures are cool, but yep, that's about it.
Yeah. And then I also revisited The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, the Ben Stiller one. And I watched it in theaters, and I was like, oh, this is okay. But they had like one of those digibooks at Target, so I bought it and hadn't watched it until now. And revisiting it, like, I really enjoyed it for some reason.
I've heard it's a movie that gets better as you keep watching it.
It does. Like, I watched it a second time with... Did I watch the second time? I think I watched the second time with the director's commentary or the producer's commentary. But just like... I wish I'd seen the original so I'd have a reference point to compare it to, because...
The one with Danny Kaye.
To
clarify.
In this one... So The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is... Ben Stiller plays Walter Mitty, and he's kind of... something happened in his life where he kind of gave up being adventurous and just settled for a desk job, and as a result of that, he is constantly like daydreaming. In the start of the movie, he has this crush on this like newly hired person. He works at Time Life, and the magazine is going under, so they're going digital. So Adam Scott plays Beard Guy, the new executive hired to lay off a bunch of people. Ben Stiller works in the photo department, so he processes the photos by a famous photographer played by Sean Penn. Sean O'Connell, I think, is the character in the movie. And so Sean has shot a photo that's going to be the last cover of the magazine. But when all the prints show up, number 25 is missing, even though Sean says it's part of the collection. So Ben Stiller has to be like, where's this photo? Mm-hmm. And Sean is a photographer who's not like, connected to social media and digital and stuff. Like he mails things in. So Walter Mitty has to figure out how to get it. So as Walter's trying to deal with this crisis, he's constantly slipping into like his head and imagining all these scenarios, which early on they're like really kind of over the top. Like the first one that happens, he's talking to his eHarmony profile guy, which is Patton Oswalt, by the way. And he just launches into, like, he looks at a building and suddenly it's on fire, and he like just jumps off the elevated train into the window, rescues a dog, runs out, gives it to Kristen Wiig, who's the girl who got hired. And then later on, he fights Beard Guy over a Stretch Armstrong doll, and they're like sliding through the New York streets, tearing up asphalt, and like doing this like Marvel level like fight scene. And it's just really weird because the second half of the movie, as he goes on the adventure to track down Sean O'Connell, like narratively it makes sense because as he's connecting with his adventurous side, he's losing the ability to like fall into daydream sequences. But at the same time, like, it's really a weird contrast to what you just saw earlier in the movie. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure like the angle they're going for is that like your own life can be equally as adventurous as like a fictional life or something like that. And so,
yeah, you don't have to daydream to like
to live a wonderful life.
Yeah, like just get out there and things will happen and you'll just fall into it. But the early ones are just so over the top. Like I imagine the original movie, it's probably just like lavish production design. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one like is full out like action sequences and stuff.
Well, it's not like. I think the key difference, in my opinion, is the story, because it's just in its elements of the story, and also how they like play different characters, like in terms of like, just like who he's really interacting with to a degree. But like, I mean, the principle is the same, in the older film, like essentially, like both of these films are adapted from a James Thurber short story. So,
which if you watch the bonus features, they talk about how he didn't like the original movie apparently.
Oh, I would imagine so. They changed a lot, but it's because it's like loosely based on that story. But yeah, no. I mean, like, it's been years since I've seen the original Walter Mitty. Yeah. So much so that when the trailer came out for this remake, I was just like, "Oh, I remember that movie one time. Cool, good for Ben." And then I just didn't. I still haven't seen it yet, so I may have to borrow it from you or something, or get that Target one.
One of the small touches they add to it, though, is like I guess the motto of Time Life is I forget the actual words right now, but it connects to like being adventurous and like traveling through life, and they like that reinforces a lot of what happens throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. And there's parts where they include like text in the background, like the motto's there, and then other parts when he like finally jet sets to Iceland, like through the airport terminal, there's like different mottos that appear, like in the marketing, like all the advertising that's in the story is repurposed for the theme. And so, yeah, and by the end, it's really like poignant and stuff, and I appreciate it more than I did when I first saw it.
I'll have to watch this one.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the original one in years, so I'll have to... Maybe that'd be an interesting back-to-back comparison.
And then at the drive-in, I saw Incredibles 2, which... Are we going to do our own episode for that? Should I save it?
I don't know. Maybe
Did anyone
not.
else see it yet?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll just save... Like, we'll pair it with whatever's coming up once you guys see it.
Whatever.
I guess in general, I'll just say that I thought it was okay.
Same.
Like the original, I was fine with too. It didn't blow me away like other Pixar movies, but I like the original more than this one because I feel like narratively it jumps around towards the end.
I mean, like my thing with it is that like the first one felt like it had a purpose, like it was trying to say something about family and strength and that kind of thing. Whereas this one feels more like an episode in an Incredibles TV show. Yeah, like there's not really a point to it. It's just an adventure. And so
I think the strongest point is like trying to balance work and family.
Well, yeah, I wanted there to be kind of like some kind of message about like the stay-at-home parent is just as important as like the working parent.
Yeah.
But they don't really do anything with that. It just kind of ends up being
It ends
more
like halfway through,
Yeah.
and then they go into the screensaver part, and then the screensaver is like not that interesting.
It's also, I mean, what Screenslaver ends up being is very obvious to me, and so like the moment like a certain character
When
is
you
shown,
find out who it is,
yeah, I didn't want to be like if there's like a twist or anything, but like the moment you find out who Screenslaver is, it's like, well, yeah, like,
and it feels like they do key it up for you, but when I watched it, I was like, I don't know why that's that person. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, some things like it doesn't make sense why it's that person, but like knowing how story structure works, I was like, it's probably one of these two people. And
yeah,
so,
well, I thought it was both, but
well, yeah, I mean, I thought so too. I do like the idea of that one of them is not the evil one, but
yeah, but it was just weird. Like, the ending
it
was
didn't
not
it didn't feel all that.
cohesive.
Yeah, and I saw it with like my family, and my mom was like, "Just take the glasses off. Like it's not that hard of a thing." Like,
yeah, I guess they eventually do.
Yeah.
They have to have them knocked off. And then the second movie paired with that was A Wrinkle in Time, which
I've heard very weird things.
it's like a Christopher Nolan idea that they're trying to have kids. I don't know how a kid actually follows this movie. And I got so bored I fell asleep in parts. And a lot of the movie, the dialogue is just like believe in yourself over and over again.
You are a warrior.
Yeah, you're a warrior. Like you have the power. Believe in yourself. Just like for an hour and a half straight.
Well, I mean, the book is really out there, and it's why they really haven't succeeded in making a film of it like yet. I've seen bits and pieces of it because my brother has watched it with like my parents, and my parents were just like, and like my parents didn't like it, but they were like, the kid acting in it is just some of the worst act performances. Like,
yeah, like I woke up at one point, and I guess her little brother is
Asian
evil. Yeah, like he's suddenly the villain of everything.
I mean, I just heard my parents were just like, most of the acting was okay, but there's like this one like 9-year-old Asian boy in it who's apparently just the worst actor on the planet.
Yeah. I don't remember if he was Asian or not. That's how much I was able to pay attention.
My parents only mentioned that point because he was like, he's supposed to be their brother, but like the siblings are all different races somehow, and it doesn't make any sense. And so,
yeah,
I'll
and
check
then,
it out at some point still.
And then there's like all this like trite good versus evil dialogue that you know there's this darkness creeping up on the world, and only you have the light to save it. And it's like, why? Can it be more than that? Anyway, so I did not dig that, but I also didn't see all of it, so probably
might
not
be better
fair.
if you're high.
But like, yeah, yeah, and the production design is just, ugh.
I was never intrigued by the trailers. It just seemed bland.
It's also a lot of the scenes are just like, here's something weird and cool. Here's another thing that's weird and cool.
It looked like a very heavy like special effects reel kind of film.
Yeah, like a demo reel of
Yeah.
hey, we can do this. Yeah,
All right.
we can change these characters into these weird things
Just
just because.
like, I mean, I've seen like some of the behind the scenes videos of it and like how proud they all were of it. And I imagine like the film was actually like very difficult to make. And from what I've seen, it looks pretty good, like in terms of like the special effects and that kind of thing. It's just a shame that just the final product didn't end up being as great as it could have been. So,
Yeah. Yeah. What else?
if David Lynch was ever going to make a kids film, that should be his adaptation.
And then the last thing I saw with you two
Oh yeah,
was Gotti.
Movie Pass. What?
yeah.
Oh, I paid for that.
Yeah.
Isn't a Movie Pass like
It's a movie pass venture.
Distributed
It's their
movies?
second film they've made. Yeah. So
And
not
yeah,
making the best choices. Movie pass. Like, so what
not,
did?
yeah, probably I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like 0% worthy, but it's definitely the most like oddly edited movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Especially this year, and then also it's so matter of fact of like there's no nuance to it. It's just like
Yeah.
Gotti did this, and then Gotti did this, and here's a little text for like every 2 or
Yeah.
3 minutes to show you where they are
Where they are, who they are, and what they're doing.
on screen.
And who are around them. There's several chyrons to tell you about people that don't matter to the story later on.
Yeah. And then when it gets to the end of the movie, it finally realizes that, oh, we could also jump back in time, back and forth, and also like find a father and son theme to this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, there's zero consistency. There's zero through point. It really wants to be Goodfellas so much.
Like it's closer to a documentary than it is.
Yeah, in the weirdest possible way. And the way they cut to news footage is awkward. Awkward as all heck, in my opinion.
Yeah, stock newsreel footage.
I mean, primarily because like John Travolta doesn't really look like him, like, and so it's kind
but
of.
It
but
doesn't
he
matter
acts
if he,
really well.
Yeah, it's funny.
His performance is really good. I'd say that though.
Out of anything in the film, it's Travolta. Like that's he's been wanting to make this film for 10 plus years. There was a point when Lindsay Lohan was going to play like his daughter. I think I don't know. I don't even remember seeing a daughter of his. Like, I think. At the end of the day, like the director, by the way, is Kevin Connolly, who was E on Entourage. I don't understand how you can like assemble such a mess. Like if
I can tell you how they did it.
Well, I mean,
I met Kevin Connolly while they were editing the film. So.
Well, okay. Aside from like your story and
tell.
whatnot, but it's just like, how do you get to that point? Like, what happened from the moment they went into pre-prod to now to like it seemed like there was no vision going in as they shot, and that's why they ended up at the point that you described.
Well, I mean, from what I like, 'cause I met him because the producer of the film is an alumni of my school, and I got like on like a trip with my school to meet alumni, and he was one of them. And then we just happened to go in the room with Kevin Connolly while they were editing it.
Right.
And that producer, he's known for doing like really low budget action direct-to-DVD type stuff. That like they shoot in the Ukraine, 'cause it's the cheapest, and they shoot it in like 3 days, and then they just shove it into an editing station, then it's done. And I imagine like he was the highest name producer on this film, and so I imagine it's kind of what they did with this approach as well. And then when we met Kevin Connolly, I will say, very nice. He you could tell that he really wanted to make it good, but I think with this kind of story, it's someone that you need to have like a really good director to do with,
or a budget even, I guess.
Yeah, but like when I was there, they were editing it, and then like on the back board, they had this big whiteboard that had all the scenes as like note cards, like in order of like how they're going to edit it. And he said like, yeah, we've just been like rearranging things and like putting them in different kinds of order to see like if it would work and what that would be like. And that's kind of the biggest problem with this film, is that there's no coherence and there's no line throughout it. It's just like it's a bunch of scenes in a movie that don't really connect to each other.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look, I mean, I agree with Brad in the sense that like I don't think it's 0% bad, because like you have Travolta's performance working in your favor, but that's like a fraction of the film.
Well, I mean, I thought that too, like, because like when we left theater, we were like, yeah, it's not 0% bad. But then I thought about how Rotten Tomatoes works, and Rotten Tomatoes is either it's good or it's bad, and I can't think of anyone who's a professional film critic that would say this is good. Yeah, I can see someone saying it's passable, but I can't see anyone who's a professional film critic who sees movies for a living saying this is a good film.
And I searched podcasts of like just like armchair critics, kind of like us, who like sit down and like discuss the film, and some of them liked it and whatnot, like, but they also had problems with it. Like no one ever not had something bad to say about this film. And like, I mean, for me, like the most jarring thing outside of hearing a Pitbull song 4 times in that film, was it seems like everyone around Travolta and Ripa just isn't having any fun or has no acting ability. And that's not an insult. It's just that like, the scene I point to is there's a scene where Gotti's son and Gotti's son's friend and Gotti's friend are like all in the house, and then Gotti comes into the room, starts smacking the shit out of his kid, going like, you fucked up, you motherfucker, you cocksucker, blah, blah, blah. And then he leaves, and like that's the only like real energy we get. And then after that, like Gotti's friend goes like, what's the matter with you? Don't you know how much he does for you? Like in the flattest tone that I've ever heard. And I was just like, that's a weird way to respond to like this situation. Another scene, which is just with Ripa and Travolta, is like their son has just been killed in a car wreck, and she's sleeping like whacked out on pills in the bed with the curtains drawn, and Gotti opens up the curtains and just says like, you got 5 other kids to raise, so I'm going to make some coffee. You get out there and you be a good parent. Which I'm like, that's weird writing. Like for a moment in the film where you had the potential to like push some real drama, like you basically took the entire movie of Rabbit Hole with Aaron Eckhart and Nicole Kidman and turned it into a wake the fuck up moment, which I was just like, this is ridiculous. So I don't know. Like I have no desire to rewatch it unless Riff Tracks did something with it.
Oh shit!
Like that might be interesting.
I also didn't enjoy, like, it felt like the movie was a little, like, redemptive of Gotti. Like, for a guy
by the end of the
It
film,
tries,
like-
but it doesn't have any. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
like, oh, he had cancer and he died in prison, so, like, let's humanize him a bit. Like, no.
But it's also, I mean, they do this thing with both him and his son, where it's like they're both actually really good guys, and they never did anything bad. When the entire film you see them murdering people, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that really works.
And I get them showing, like, okay, yeah, I'm sure, a bunch of people in New York City did idolize him.
Oh no, well that's the thing,
But you can just show that. But the other parts were like, yeah, they're like humanizing him, like, oh yeah, like father son, like relationship.
and like that's what I was saying. Like, I think a more talented director could do it. Where if like, because that's what makes him interesting is that he gave so much back to the community, which you never see in this film. They just like show some archival footage of it. So
I almost feel like, because I my opinion of Black Mass has changed over the years since it was released, but maybe Scott Cooper could do a decent job at Gotti, because Gotti's a little more of a flashy figure than, say, a Frank Whitey Bulger. Mm-hmm. So maybe you can kind of like back off of your normal dark trope a wee bit and do a really good Gotti story. But like, I don't think this obviously wasn't going to be it. And it uses songs in weird places too. It's as we've said, it's interestingly edited. I feel weird having paid $12 for it. I should have gone in the morning to see it, because I had to see it. I was curious. I'm just like, why is everyone bitching on the internet about John Travolta again? But yeah, no.
I will say that there are 7 people on Letterboxd that gave this 5 stars. One of the reviews is, "This was so good. Best film I saw at cons for sure. My bro E from Entourage knows how to make a good movie with Mr. Worldwide providing a banging soundtrack for these wacky fun mobsters. It was litty titty. 5 stars like." So
Wacky
seems like a review
mobsters
that-
and litty titty.
was trying on purpose.
well, there's also the one above it is meatball spaghetti underneath ravioli Great Barrier Reef. 5 stars like. So
Henry, really quickly, ask me what I think of Citizen Kane.
no.
Just seriously, just ask me.
What did you think of Citizen Kane?
Well, it's obviously litty titty.
oh boy. But yeah, Gotti, don't see it.
Yeah. And actually, the last thing I saw was Riff Tracks Live for Space Mutiny, and that was a ton of fun. It was a live telecast thing
Nice.
in the theater before Gotti. So probably should have called it a night there.
Oh boy.
Henry?
All right, cool. I'll try to make mine quick. So I started a new weekly series for review for written stuff called Keiju Waifu. It will be essentially not reviews, but more detailing the history of the Godzilla franchise from its conception to where it is now. Mm-hmm. So it's less review and more kind of historical kind of context of stuff. Part 1 came out on Saturday, and that one followed first with The Lost World, 1920s film that had monsters in it that kind of inspired the director of King Kong to make King Kong. Then we go into King Kong, which is King Kong, and then after that we went to, that same year, very successful King Kong was, so they made a sequel within the next month.
Son of Kong.
Kong released that the same year, which isn't great. It's what's more interesting is that the entire cast and crew returned for it, which is kind of rare for those kinds of things.
It's an enjoyable piece.
It's not as good, but still, if you're desperate for a movie, which you're not, you can watch it. When it gets interesting is that there was a very small production company in Japan who saw those films and were like, we should do one here. So they made King Kong in Edo, which is a King Kong film in Japan. Unfortunately, that film was lost during the war, so you can no longer see it, but you can see kind of screenshots of it. Mm-hmm. But from that, the guy who made the costume for King Kong was contacted by another company to be like, hey, can you make a costume for us about a giant lizard? And then he was the guy who also made the first Godzilla costume. And then I talk a little bit about Godzilla and kind of the history of that and how it really is not a Godzilla film and more a very anti-war film instead. So if you want to read more kind of in detail stuff about that, you can read part 1. Next week we'll getting into more of the spin-off type stuff, as the director of that one was very reluctant to return and make King Kong 2. Or Godzilla 2. So,
and it's a good article. I've already read it. You should check it out.
But yeah, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, there are 70 plus films that I'll be watching for this, so here we go. It's why I'm reviewing 5 at a time, not 1 at a time.
Thanks for making the website relevant, though. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's fine, you know.
Not me. I write an article there with like once a week.
Yeah, but now there's 2 people writing articles once a week. So
people.
You'll begin the next Clinton article this week. So
I also, just today, I got back from Gosford Park, first time I've seen it. One thing I just want to compliment Steve, who is the best person that works at Alamo, because someone else introduced this film today and did not... I don't want to hear your 20-minute story about your dog. I just want to watch the movie. Whereas Steve knows he's just going to come in, introduce the film, and get out. He's very good at his job. Then I saw Tag, which is a very fun comedy. Not my favorite comedy of the year, but still very fun. If you want to check it out, I definitely would recommend seeing it. I saw Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is very good. It's sets the bar pretty high for best documentary at the Oscars this year. I don't see really anything else coming in and stealing it at this point. I mean, I've looked into some stuff, but I don't really see anything else that could possibly beat it.
Wolfman's got nards.
Yep, it'll be battle of the century. But yeah, I would if you're tempted about seeing it, I'd definitely check it out. Yeah. Most people in my theater were crying throughout the entire thing, so bring some tissues. And I think that's about. Oh, and then I saw Hotel Artemis, which I thought was fun, but that's about it. It's one film that like no one's gonna see it in theaters, and then in 9 months when it's on Netflix, people are gonna be like, "Hey," and they're gonna like it then. I will say, Charlie Day is in it, and Charlie Day is surprisingly very hot in the film. So, if you're into that... I mean, I'm not into Charlie Day, but this film made me into Charlie Day. Very sexually attractive in this film. So, yeah. And
Was
that's
he sniffing paint in it?
No, he's an arms dealer, and he wears this really fucking hot shirt. But yeah. And then real finally, I don't want to talk about it to give it too much attention, but The Kissing Booth on Netflix I watched because my sister told me to. It is a really fucking bad film. It is a high school romantic comedy that is legitimately written by a 15-year-old and idolizes abusive relationships. So,
Good.
yeah.
And then, like, he hit me, but then I was like, oh no, I've got a Spanish quiz.
Finally, the hot take. Abusive relationships are good.
Don't get that very often nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a Philadelphia story.
It's a film that I'm surprised did not star YouTubers. So, yeah, but that's all I watched this week. So
Nice. Zach?
Not a whole lot. Rewatched Justice League after the con. I had more fun with it this time around, having separated myself from the DC EU thing and whatnot, and just enjoyed it as what Brad had described earlier in last year as a like its own episode of the Justice League TV show, kind of, but just for theaters, or something like it's better as its own thing. Essentially, it's just a Justice League cartoon, but live action. Like it doesn't need the multiverse connecting nonsense.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I said that.
hot take from Zach.
Yeah, I mean, you did. Like, I heard you this in the car. But so yeah, I had more fun with it. But its problems are still obvious to me. It's still too short for the story they're trying to tell to a degree, and the some of the stuff, like I'm still wondering. I guess I can't wait to see an Aquaman trailer because I want to know how they're going to do the talking underwater thing, because the bubble thing still feels weird to me. And then, I mean, yeah, it was much more fun. Like the Blu-ray's $10 on Amazon right now, and I ordered it yesterday. So I'm just like, I'll own it. Why not?
I think they're waiting for San Diego Comic-Con to drop that trailer.
I think so too.
James
Yeah.
Wan announced he's going to show it at Comic-Con.
The twist is that the entire film is silent.
I did talk to an Aquaman super fan at our craft beer dinner, and the only problem he had with Jason Momoa as Aquaman is he threw a bottle into the ocean when he's talking to Bruce Wayne. Guy yourself is bad.
But
Dig that.
bottles are made of melted sand, so he basically recycled it.
That's true. I didn't lay that on the line for him.
Yeah.
Real Nerds 1, Environmentalists 0.
Pwned.
I also saw the movie Stand Up Guys for the first time. I missed it in theaters for whatever reason, but it's Al Pacino, Alan Arkin, and Christopher Walken.
That sounds like a movie right up your alley.
I know, but it came out in 2013, and I was working at the theater, but I think I was working on Boy You Stairs or something like that.
Is that
so
2013? Holy
yeah.
shit.
So, but if you haven't seen it, it's actually directed by Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2.
And Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers. But this is, I guess, his feature or his narrative debut, because he's done documentaries. But anyway, it's a story about a gangster gets out of prison, and his friend, who was also a gangster, comes to pick him up. And then throughout the course of the night, it's revealed that the guy who's been released is been given a death sentence by his old boss, and the person who's going to kill him is his friend that got him out of jail. So they decide to have one last wild ride through the town as old men, They pick up their friend, who's played by Alan Arkin, from an old folks' home and let him drive around. So, this to preface this movie is weirdly acted, weirdly paced. Al Pacino seems to be doing whatever he's been doing for the past 10, 15 years. Like his high energy stuff. Christopher Walken looks tired.
Al Pacino's in the room and he's talking.
Whoa.
I tried really hard in that movie.
You did?
I'm like,
Thanks, Al.
forward.
Can we get you anything?
What did you think of the scene where you popped like 20 boner pills?
It got me to stand attention, didn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Yeah. So like,
last week was better.
It almost feels like this is a slower and intentionally.
I have a fucking erection.
There he is.
But no, it feels like this film like is a slower and somehow trying to be more artsy version of what the Stand Up Guys remake ended up being.
Wait,
and
aren't you talking about Stand Up Guys?
Wait, like
No, not Stand Up Guys. Going in Style. Sorry,
Oh,
Going
okay.
in Style. Sorry, I'm getting the old people movies mixed up, guys. I'm getting old. But no, it kind of moves at a really slow pace for a while, but then you get to
in this movie.
you get to the scene where they break Alan Arkin's character out of the old folks' home, and he's supposed to be this expert driver. So when they're in the car talking, they're talking at their slow pace, but then on the outside of the car, it's like a fucking Fast and Furious movie where the cars are the cars just zooming through traffic and shit. It's so odd and strange.
Maybe it's because they're family.
So, but anyway,
that might be the joke, though.
yeah, no, it's
That sounds like a joke.
It's a joke, but I don't think it lands. I don't think it works. Like it feels weird, considering especially that all of the film tends to be kind of like off pace. There are fun moments though in it, just like the ending is actually is pretty fucking well shot in terms of like where it all leads to, which is just a big shootout from like the street up to the top of a building. It's pretty cool, but and it has a good Bon Jovi song in it that I guess was written for the movie, but not everything clicks together. So yeah, it's on Prime if you want to.
Love Stand Up Guys. Wow, wow, wow,
I
wow,
wish-
wow, wow, wow.
I wish that was the song. That'd be amazing. But yeah, it's on Prime if you want to check it out. I watched a documentary on Gene Kelly called Anatomy of a Dancer, which was an American Masters thing from I guess 10 years ago. I know very little about Gene Kelly other than I love Singing in the Rain and American in Paris. So watching this documentary, there are some films that I forgot, like he's been in, like from like the Hollywood period and whatnot. Like On the Town is like a great Frank Sinatra movie with Gene Kelly and whatnot. And then there's also County Fair and stuff like that. There's some good stuff, but like his life's been interesting because he did not. He was always trying to perfect an answer to classic style dance by creating an American style, and that's why a lot of those dance sequences that he does in An American in Paris and Singing in the Rain and whatnot are so like elaborate and like beautifully shot. Is just like he's trying to create an American dance style that doesn't exist.
My favorites was Stewie.
They talk about that sequence too, how that like that barely got in on time for them to get the Prince released, and also that Mickey Mouse was not allowed to be used in that because Walt Disney.
Jerry.
No, well, they used Jerry, but they tried to get Mickey Mouse initially. And then Disney said, "Fuck no."
Good impression, Ryan. By the way,
Yeah, I know.
Point that out.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that was good. I was on a DVD that I found at work. I rewatched Crystal Lake Memories over the past 2 days because I love that documentary. It's interesting to listen to some of the people talk about Part 5 because the stuff about Part 9 frustrates me just because it's fucking Adam Marcus. But the stuff on Part 5 is just like, it's extremely frustrating to hear that Danny Steinem was such an apparent asshole. And Frank Mancuso Jr. is doing such a great job at being diplomatic about all of it. Yeah, it's a fun doc. It's on Shudder right now if you want to check it out. And the last thing I watched for the first time was Sicario after 3 years of putting it off.
Emily Blunt's best movie.
So here's the thing: she's amazing in it.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome.
But I was not expecting it. Obviously, I was like being it the first time. I did not expect it to go where it goes. Finding out that it's at the end of the day, in a weird way, it's a Benicio story about Alessandro, and also like it just like it didn't like set me up to believe like that it would go in that direction. I thought like Benicio's character was going to be more in the background and whatnot, kind of like Josh Brolin, and be more of an Emily Blunt story, which it kind of is. But then it kind of like it manages to do ensemble very well. Because there's more than just like even those three characters in the film. There's also a plot that then integrates later in the film with a cop in Mexico who's they show his day-to-day life, and then you find out that he's actually working for the cartel, transporting drugs in his vehicle. Two things that like blew me away in it. First of all, Daniel Kaluuya's in the movie playing Emily Blunt's partner. Get Out's Daniel Kaluuya. So I was just like, wow, right on. So he has been in other movies, not just the Black Mirror or BBC stuff. So that was pretty cool to see him in it. And then what I found like most amazing about the film is how morally complex it is. I wouldn't say it's as dark as Prisoners. Like it's a different type of dark. Like it's it's asking different.
You're not going to die in us, are you, Zach?
No, it's fine. It's
all right.
It's asking different questions than Prisoners does.
It's a film that asks interesting questions, and you don't always get the answer you want.
Right, and even and also like if you're expecting a certain answer, they flip the switch on you. Like that dinner scene, like I had an idea in my mind like about 5 seconds before what happens. I'm like, oh, I guess he could do that, but they're not ballsy enough to do that, and then he fucking does it. And I was just like, and like I couldn't believe it. And then I actually think the tensest scene in the movie is the final scene with him and Blunt, where he's asking her to sign the paper saying it's all legal and legit.
I mean, the entire film is leading up to that moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very much so. And then like, but also the final shot itself in the film of them the kids playing soccer in Mexico, and then it interrupts the game to hear the gunfire. Like, I don't know why I avoided the film for as long as I did, but it's interesting to know that like this film didn't play out the way I thought it'd play out, which is like an action thriller that kind of like exploits the cartel situation in Mexico, and instead it asks very hard questions about it, and ones that you don't always get the answer to. And having seen Cartel Land prior to this made this a lot more understanding a watch. Right? Whereas if I hadn't seen Cartel Land beforehand, it might have taken me a couple of viewings to kind of like get into the mode of it. So, but yeah, no, good job, Dennis Vanilla Ice. You made a good movie. If they ever do a re-release at the Alamo, like on a big screen, I want to see it there because the cinematography is beautiful, and just for a Deakins movie, it feels different somehow than anything he's done.
I've been reading the sequel; is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I wonder where we're seeing next week.
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's all I watched this week.
I can't believe that we're seeing that, not Uncle Drew. The film about old people playing basketball.
Well,
Henry,
I mean, if you want, Henry, you're in town. If that's the movie you want to see, then we can make it Uncle Drew.
I'm not in town, but
Then fuck you, we're seeing Sicario too.
Henry,
I might
I'll
watch
log-
that last week.
Henry,
What's the subtitle? I don't even know what the subtitle is.
Day of the
Yeah,
Soldado.
Day of the Soldado?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's being called Soldado in other territories, but because it's America, we need brand merchandising, so we call it Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
Probably something related to the sun. Cause
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's
Soldado.
hot.
Well, doesn't Soldado mean soldier?
Mm,
I thought that Soldado means soldier, and
you keep
Maybe.
talking about
Yeah.
what you watched, and I'll look it up.
All right, so I just watched a few things. I watched Wolfman's Got Nards at Denver Comic Con. Go see it. I already mentioned it earlier. If it's playing in festivals, I rewatched Tomb Raider. I still think the movie's really fun. I think Alicia Vikander's really good in it. I only have one problem: is she had to wait for an explosion for her to kick the bad guy's ass, even though we know she's capable of doing it. So it's still a fun movie. It's kind of an Indiana Jones popcorn movie where you don't have to think too hard. You just watch it and appreciate the adventure of it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Let's Be Cops for the first time. Never seen it. It's like funny, but not great.
yeah,
Because I think Damon Wayans isn't good in it, or Yeah, Damon Wayans, but Jake Johnson's really good in it.
I like him more with every film I see him in. Like,
yeah, and it's kind of a different character too for Rob Riggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's silly, but it's fun. I like when he shows up on the football field in the cop car, and he's like, "Which one of you fuckers? That's what I do all day long."
That was episode 169, and you did miss it.
I did miss it.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's not really memorable
from an actual cop's perspective, how realistic is this film?
Not very.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, the only thing I will say is that they're working at Los Angeles, that there's enough police where you don't know everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go to Denver. I think Denver has 2,000 officers. There's no way you know everybody. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you might be able to get away for a little bit, but...
So I'm just laughing because we titled that episode "Let's Be Cox."
Yes, which it should be. Yeah, it was just a fun movie. I don't, like I said, kind of forgetful, but I got it at Second and Charles for $1.97. So I don't think I wasted.
Oh, it's worth. Like,
I got it a long time ago, and I was like looking at I haven't watched this yet. Why don't I pop this in? I got it at the same time I got Observe and Report, which I actually liked a lot more the second time I watched it.
Also, you're right. Soldado does mean soldier. So
Soldado.
Look at me being Spanish.
Day of the Soldier.
Day of the Soldier.
Henry Jarvis, Spanish.
I'm going to call it Sicario with Thanos.
Should be Dia de la Soldado.
Yeah. What the hell?
Well, I mean,
El Soldado.
they're already doing it only for American audiences. I think they'd be like, we're not putting all of the thing in Spanish.
I can't see this movie. There's too many Spanish words.
I also watched
Donald Trump impressions all day, I tell you.
Yeah. Wow. Strangers Pray at Night, unrated, which... So I don't know what's going on with the Blu-ray. The unrated and the rated are the exact same time. And the only thing I can think of is watching the unrated one, I think they add more blood spray. The scenes aren't different. They're the same.
So there's not even alternate takes?
No, it's really bizarre.
I would say they could just change the shots and keep the length.
So, I mean, it
the
reminds
same.
me of... what movie is PG-13 and they made R with CGI blood? Alien vs. Predator. It's all... They have a few extra scenes in it, but the reason it became R-rated is they added a bunch of CG blood to it, and that's what kind of felt like, but it didn't look CG. I don't know. I could be wrong. I didn't notice a difference. But the movie's still great. It's really atmospheric. It's shot really well. The killings, they only kill, I think, 5 people in it, maybe 3 or 4, but they're really brutal and they're really hard to watch.
Because it's character driven.
Yes, it's character driven.
You actually care about these fuckers.
And in ways you don't expect. And they don't shy away from it. I mean, the mom dies in it and they show her getting stabbed repeatedly. It's a really cool movie. If you like slasher films, it's a fun movie because it also, towards the end, it kind of devolves into an 80s slasher where the bad guy is kind of indestructible.
That's the only problem I have with the film.
Kind of, not really. But it's fun. I mean...
I don't know. The film leaves me on a suspenseful note, though.
It sure does. Well, they do have an alternate ending on the Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
And it's like 20 seconds longer. And then it's also, the Blu-ray has... I hate when it says, making of special features, and there's like 3 on there. It's like the music, the scenes, the family, or killers, or whatever, and each one is 2 minutes long.
Is the family one Vin Diesel talking about? I love the strangers.
So it's literally like quick cuts of the movie, and they go, and these killers are ruthless. Strangers. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's literally, they took it off EPK TV or something. I don't know.
Who put that Blu-ray out? Do you know?
Universal.
Oh, okay.
I also watched Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy for the first time in a while.
Yeah, you did.
It's pretty funny. Not quite as good as the other Meet the Monsters. I think it was the last one.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I think they did, before this one, they did Meet the Monster with
Boris. Meet the Killer Boris Karloff.
Yeah, and then before that was Invisible Man. No, Jekyll and Hyde. Then Invisible Man, and then...
Yeah, so Mummy is the last one.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean...
Well, and at this point, Bud and Lou were getting older, on the way out, and Costello was a depressive wreck, and Bud Abbott was in gambling debt.
What did Costello? He died like 3 years after this, I think.
Yeah,
soon after.
Yeah, and it left Bud in a lurch for years, and leaving Bud to die penniless in the 70s. But
yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, there's lots of really funny in this movie, it has a lot more of winking at the camera, which is kind of fun. I mean, literally winking at the camera. And it has stupid lines. They show a headline from the newspaper, and they go, hey, that dead guy in there. Well, which one's dead? And it's stupid but funny.
There are gems in that one. It's
Yeah.
just that, like...
Just not as tight as the other ones.
Yeah, like the Frankenstein one manages to reuse a gag from Hold That Ghost, which was, like, I think 2 years prior, and it still works.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I mean, at this point, also, sense of humors are changing and whatnot, so
Yeah.
they're not unconfident, but it's just...
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Did you got it on an individual release, or did you get it
No, I have it in the Mummy collection.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that.
So the Universal's been putting out the collections on Blu-ray, and if you haven't bought any of them for $150, you can buy all 50 films on Blu-ray coming out in October.
I can't see that online anywhere. You got to show me the link
I will.
later.
It's
Yeah.
on Amazon.
My mom likes to watch that movie because she told me, she's like, yeah, I watched it when I was a kid, and it's really not for kids.
No, so the thing is, they treat the monsters legit, and it also has Richard Deacon from the Dick Van Dyke Show as one of the henchmen in it. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I mean, I'll watch it again because I like Abbott Costello. And the last thing I watched was a movie. So I'm doing the Scream Factory Crypt, which I was going to publish some, but then when I was going through, I noticed my wife or my kid put my movies out of order. So now I have to go back and watch a couple before I can post them again. But I watched Caged Fury, which is a woman in prison movie.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So in it, there's women who are in prison who wear lingerie.
Hell yeah.
So the opening is like half naked and naked women.
Well, I mean,
One-
if you trade enough cigarettes, you can get lingerie.
Yeah. So, but the
realism is through the roof.
Yeah. So their like prison outfits are like boxer shorts and like really tight shirts, and then some of them wear teddies. And bustiers. It's really weird. And so the opening is this, I guess, mean prison guard, and he's chasing this like woman with huge tits just falling out through ventilation. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. But it's one of those movies where you don't know what's happening, but in a way it's really awesome because not the nudity part. Cause so after all that part, it cuts to Eric Estrada, who's in the movie for like 10 minutes, but he gets top billing. So you can tell it's in a low budget movie that he was paid to do a couple scenes, and then they couldn't afford to put him in any other scenes. And then his friend named Rico something, but he's like this karate guy who can just like kick everybody's ass.
Rico Suave?
Yes, something like that. But he had like a Jerry curl mullet, and he meets the girl who comes from Kansas.
You look at me. I don't remember
Dorothy?
any of this film,
So,
but like,
because I'm trying to like, I don't know, because I watched it 2 days ago and
like,
I can't
yeah.
remember.
I watched it maybe
Dorothy,
like 3
right?
years ago.
Yes, Dorothy from Kansas. Her dad is played by Michael Parks. And you're watching, you're going, what in the fuck is going on here? And then, so she goes to an audition, in the meantime, she meets Eric Estrada and his Terminator karate guy, Rico. I forget his name. And she gets, she's going to get raped by this motorcycle gang behind this bar after meeting these two guys. And this is when you find out he's great at karate. Because he goes out there and just kicks everybody's ass. Not very convincingly, though, because the fights aren't choreographed very well and the editing is really shitty. But in a way, like, this is kind of weird but fun. And then she gets on. So they both tried.
Like Roadhouse fun?
No, not as good as Roadhouse. Because there's no Swayze and Pain Don't Hurt. There's nothing like that in it.
And no polar bears either.
Yeah, no polar bears.
It's almost like if I remember correctly, it's almost like they didn't know this guy, the actor, was gonna like kung fu, and then there's like, oh, you can do this, cool, and then they just shot it without planning. Like,
you guys know I do karate, right?
That's basically.
Oh, write a karate scene in.
So they ride off on a Harley. Then she goes to an audition for a movie where she has to come on to the producer, this old dude, and then when she doesn't want to like show skin, then he calls the cops and has her arrested for rape. And she gets sentenced to go to Honeywell prison, which is the prison. So the prison goes away for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And like almost a whole movie. And then it cuts to them at the prison, and it's just like the Naked Cage, where the warden is like this dominatrix, super hot chick who's naked all the time. And then they they do anal examinations, and then the bad police guy there like lets girls out if they sleep. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Eventually, Eric Estrada finds out. He gets shot, and they have the scene with the Terminator karate guy. He's in the ambulance, And he says, I'll go save him. And Eric Estrada says, no, I need help. He says, no, you stay here. You just got shot. This is seriously the dialogue. I'm not even...
The twist of this movie is like, this isn't a government-funded prison.
What? You got it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all an act where they sell these girls on a slave market at the very end. I'm like, what the fuck? But so it's basically they're looking for a way for Eric Estrada not to be in the movie anymore. And the karate guy's like, you stay here. I'll go save him. And he drives to this prison, kicks everybody's ass until he gets like swarmed. They throw him in a cell and they lock him up like, haha, get us now. And they walk away. But he kicks through the wall and then continues to beat everybody up. And then they all run out. And the best part is they run out to the Grauman's Chinese Theater and they have a marquee for Raiders of the Last Crusade. Like it.
So
just
this is 89.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, like clear as day. And then Eric Estrada shows up with like this little blood right here. He's like, "Oh, I'm okay," and that's the end of the movie.
So what tipped you off that it wasn't a real government prison? Well, I mean, at the beginning, I mean, a lot of the employees were just in their lingerie, but
Yeah.
I still believe that it was.
But it's supposed to be like this huge twist, even though you already know it's coming.
Yeah.
And they're going, "But what about the DA?" Actors. They were all actors to sell you on the sex. So it's basically Taken without Liam Neeson.
Wow.
Yep.
I watched this like years ago back when I was like really into like exploitation kind of films, and the director made another film which I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can look it up. Where it's basically the same like woman in cages kind of film, but instead of the twist being that it's all a thing, it's like halfway through they got like this woman in cage thing isn't working out. What if we make this a mind control film?
Yeah,
and then they just like start doing that. Like,
So I've watched a few of them, and they're like so bad they're entertaining. I don't remember. The Naked Cage is like a lady robbing a bank and she gets framed for it. Mm-hmm. But they always find a way where they can shower together. The warden is some lesbian dominatrix
and
who has
she's
a hot
also
tub.
showering. Like,
Yeah, and she has like a hot tub always in her like office. And
as the warden does.
yes.
Like,
So
Well, when you watch Shawshank Redemption, Gordon there had
The
a hot tub in
iconic
his
hot tub
office.
scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the bubbles are going when he says, "Or am I being obtuse?"
So
It's a
I
standard.
mean, if people say, "Would you recommend it?" So I think I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd because the movie's not good, but it's also entertaining.
yeah.
I don't know because the Karate Dude, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like it's one of our tweets I've put out lately that's been our most active because it must be a movie where everyone. I mean, I didn't know anyone else had even heard of it.
Yeah,
but
well, it's like it's known as one of the most like iconic woman in cages films.
so it's pretty infamous.
Yeah.
because I don't know why the Karate Dude can break through walls, but he can.
The karate
And he's
dude
not good at karate, though.
No, he's not.
It's like, and I don't know if it's because he's not good or the director's not good at staging and blocking.
It's probably
Can it
both.
be both? Yeah.
Because the edits are bad. But well, because and then it doesn't make sense too that she's picks up this girl on her way to L.A. and she's like, I haven't been there in years. But then she has a boyfriend she knows who's a photographer who's also I don't fucking know. There's lots of naked women. Terminator guy. It's entertaining. The Scream Factory release only comes with the trailer because I don't know if anyone wants to talk about it. And Michael Parks is only in it for like 2 minutes. He's always by the phone, and he always answers it when his daughters call him.
That's his entire character.
Oh, yeah, because her sister comes to try to save her, but she gets arrested, too. Like, in the span of a day. Like, she's arrested and her trial.
Yeah, it takes place really quick.
Yeah, it does.
It's
And
like the director knows no one cares about this. We
it's
gotta get to the
basically
good
like a
stuff.
porno, because you're like...
No, yeah.
Because you're trying to say... Like, wow, did I miss, like, a part of the story? And I did. I reversed the Blu-ray. I'm like, nope, didn't miss any scenes. So, yeah, whatever. It was fun. I own it. It's one of those Scream Factory titles, though, that never goes on sale. I got it when it came out, and I got it for, like, $15. And now I haven't seen it below $24. Because it must be one of their low-print ones where they don't put out very often.
Or it might be that it's so popular that like people
Maybe.
know they can charge more for it.
Maybe
so.
because it's a title that I don't know how many people ask for, but obviously they do because it's popular. I don't know. I didn't know it was Caged Heat. Caged Heat. This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we saw Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Henry, should people see JW2?
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying that I saw this really early this morning, and I was asleep through some of it. I wasn't that big a fan of it, but also I should probably rewatch it because I missed a good amount of it. So that's what I think.
Brad?
I I might like it a little bit more than Jurassic World, but there's a lot of trying a little too much. There's a subplot in this film that's like completely bonkers to me. But I guess if this is the direction it's going, it's not that crazy. But overall, it seems I did appreciate that for once in a blockbuster movie, they start out very globally, and the movie ends very locally. And we'll talk about that later. But overall, like, it has some interesting ideas, but I don't think anything is fully realized in a satisfying way.
Zach?
Well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I'm kind of like, 'cause Jurassic World, the first one for me was like a fun trip down memory lane that also kind of had an interesting angle to it. Fallen Kingdom kind of felt like let's like kind of add more of that nostalgia sauce onto another piece of nostalgia sauce that you saw back in '97, and just to make it even crazier. I don't know. Like, we'll talk about it later, but I thought there were some things in this film that just seemed kind of utterly useless to me. So, but if you're looking to get out of the heat, sure.
Yeah, I liked it. Not as actually, I like Jurassic World more. Just because I think some of the characters and dialogue was kind of goofy. But my little boy loved it, and I thought touching on Brad, it was cool because the ending, last 40 minutes or so, kind of felt like a horror film, and they really focused the movie. Then the rest of it kind of seemed all over the place. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. If you like dinosaurs causing mayhem, I don't, because there's lots of dinosaurs in this one. The dinosaurs are definitely the stars.
I mean, that's just the thing. Like, it's just, if you're going to watch dino attacks, then yeah, of course I should say go see it. But if you're looking for like substance, maybe not.
It's hard because the first one is just like so iconic. Mm-hmm. It's a really high bar to always live up to. But like Jurassic World was a sort of like a even bigger budget remake of the original, and I'd say this one's almost more in line with also a remake of The Lost World, but with extra stuff that I don't think should be there.
Yeah, here's a trailer for Fallen Kingdom.
She's tracked. Okay, come on.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
How many can you save?
11 species. Blue is the last of her kind.
You'll never capture her.
We thought you might know someone who could help.
A rescue op? What could go wrong?
Hey, Blue. You know me.
Come with me. You know you can't stay here. Pack your men up right now.
It was all a lie!
The man who proved raptors can follow orders. You never thought how many millions a trained predator might be worth?
They're gonna sell them.
Not Blue. They need it for something else.
What is that thing? They made it.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
I say we shut this whole thing down.
Hey, girl. You think what I'm thinking?
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
You can't put it back in the box.
Blue!
If I don't make it back, remember you're the one who made me come here.
I'll be all right. These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
So this place takes place 3 years after Jurassic World, so I guess it's real time. And I guess they really never divulge who Lockwood works for or what he does.
So, by the way, John Hammond was working with this guy Lockwood the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
And they.
So he's not in any other film.
No.
right?
No,
Yeah.
I said he might be in the books.
Maybe. I don't remember.
But, so, yeah.
Anyway, so he's working with them, and then he decides he wants to have a dinosaur sanctuary, but then, like the Lost World, there's like hunters who have a different idea.
Which also, they mentioned that like Hammond's vision was to like to have this dinosaur sanctuary, and I'm pretty sure Hammond just wanted the theme park.
Yeah.
So they changed that
Yeah.
motivation.
I had to
Spare
flee
no
circus
expense.
first, and then I expanded.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I guess the only thing John Hammond wanted everybody to experience Jurassic Park, where now it's the corporate greed, and I mean that's a cool angle. You know, it's what would you do with these dinosaurs, and I think it asks interesting questions if the dinosaurs were going to be extinct. With Jeff Goldblum's little moments in the movie where he's just saying, you know, why we should just let them die because they're not supposed to be here anyways,
Right.
is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting scene and interesting to have him in it, but I feel like just having him be bookends is kind of a disservice to him as an actor and also to that
Well,
character.
I think it's also.
Well, when they back up cash, I'd do it.
I'm sure he just didn't want to do it, and eventually they named a price high enough that he was willing to do that little. And so,
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting, or at least fun, that it starts with him being like, "No, we should let them die," and the end's like, "All right, well, fuck it. Like, I guess we're gonna have to do it now." So,
Yeah, which I'm sitting there at the end going like, yeah, don't save them because like even if you do save them, they're just gonna be hunted by humans anyway.
Yeah,
and put
and they
down.
eventually
So
die out too because if they just got
Well, humans and Buffalo
11
Bill.
of them, I didn't see any repeat species. So
yeah,
I mean, there's one T-Rex, there's one Triceratops, there's one Ankylosaurus. I mean,
did you recap the story? Is like the Isla Nublar basically blows up.
yeah, it blows up in a volcano.
And people are wondering like, should we save the dinosaurs or not? But then an InGen style company comes in and steals some DNA.
Yeah,
and then,
James Cromwell, who's great as an actor. He's not really given too much in this film, but
I'm like, because he was in it, I was constantly thinking like, oh, well, he's going to be the villain eventually, and surprisingly, he wasn't.
yeah, he is more of he actually did want to have a sanctuary for the dinosaurs, and the Mills guy is the bad guy. And then it kind of takes a Resident Evil turn where so his granddaughter. Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
So spoilers. His granddaughter is actually a clone, so they're able to clone people now too. Which hopefully that's just,
we're getting close to like a jumping the shark kind of moment.
Yeah.
where it's like
I know.
getting a little too.
Like I'm sitting there going like, okay, we're in a movie like, okay, we clone dinosaurs. Why couldn't you clone a person? But it's also like a 10-year-old girl, and they've been successful on the first try. So and she
Yeah.
doesn't know that she is. So it's just like after
works
all the
out too
conservation messages,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's just like this extra thing that
why
could
couldn't
have
she
been
just
another
be
movie.
his daughter's daughter?
I thought it was going to be like Ariana Richards'
Me too,
daughter.
me too.
Like
Yeah.
that would have been way better. I think.
Me too. So yeah, I mean the destruction of the island is pretty sweet. I think I love anything that deals with dinosaurs.
This movie definitely probably has the most you get to see on screen.
Yeah, and it's cool too. You know, they did have a lot of animatronic dinosaurs in it.
I'm because I agree with you in the sense that there's like there's a horror element that kicks in the last 30 to 40 minutes, especially with the Indoraptor and some of those scenes in the Lockwood Museum. But like the whole time, like those are things going on, I'm kind of like, I remember when Jurassic Park, oddly enough, was the simplest film in the series, and now like we've gone into cloning humans. Like I just don't understand how like Lost World Jurassic Park makes sense. Jurassic Park 3 is stretching it a little bit, but like it's gotten more complicated as it goes on.
I think if you're going
and it's needlessly so.
I think if you're going to take the route of like cloning humans, like why wouldn't you just make him like a Dr. Moreau experiments where it's like humans and dinosaur hybrids?
Which was the original plan for Jurassic World,
right?
Which I mean, like that would I think that's the most interesting angle you can do it at this point. Which I mean, I guess they'll do that next film. I mean,
how are you gonna get that?
Because they also had the auction scene where they kind of spoil it in the trailers, but you have these world people that are going to use these dinosaurs in military purposes, and that's what they designed the Indoraptor for. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'll see the next one, but My little boy loved it. He was talking throughout. He's like, "Oh, that T-Rex is eating people." That's fun.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, is that really the thing that's appealing people to Jurassic Park? Because I think it's just seeing dinosaurs. That in and of itself should be enough as a selling point.
Well, I mean, you got to push it. You know, you can only be awed by the dinosaurs so much, and you already had that great moment in the first Jurassic Park where, you know, Dr. Sadler's saying, this plant shouldn't even be here. This should be extinct and you have the awe of the dinosaurs.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to push it, but...
Well, Bryce Dallas Howard actually brings up the question, like, do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? And now it just seems like passé.
Yeah.
I do love Chris Pratt has a line where he says, yeah, if something happens to me, just remember, you brought me here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And they also, can you imagine Alan Grant, like, doing a full-on, like, fight scene like Chris Pratt does in the Indoraptor cage room? It's like, that's how far this series has gone.
Yeah, it's an action adventure.
He'd give him a threatening lecture with a claw in his hand about the raptors. No, there was a great shot in this film, though, that I thought was great in terms of the Jurassic Park mythology, I guess, is when they're, as they're escaping the island on the big ship, Bryce Dallas Howard turns around and looks at before they close the ship's doors. And you see a brontosaurus waiting on the dock, like it's because he's trying to get away from the volcano lava, and like it's just beautifully lit, beautifully kind of like composed, and it's a well up moment, and it got me. But like that was like again one of those nostalgia points of just like, oh shoot, like it's hitting something I didn't realize existed in my love of the original Jurassic Park and Lost World to an extent.
I think it's disappointing. Like there's these animals that didn't ask to be bred,
exactly,
but they have to exist here, and you know they can't help themselves.
Which in itself is like just kind of like in my opinion, kind of like one of the only nods we get to like the intent of this whole story period, which is just, or like other than Malcolm's wonderful bits at the beginning and the end.
Speaking of lava, one of my favorite sequences was Owen trying to escape the lava after he'd been tranquilized, and it's like creeping up on him.
That's a great like little comedy moment.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it's playing for strictly just laughs. You know, like it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's competently made. I think the director's good. I mean, I had fun with it, and I had more fun because how much my little boy loved it. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was talking throughout it. Not in like an obnoxious
At the Alamo? Did he get written up?
No, I don't take him to the Alamo.
I would have put up a card.
No. But he would say things like, "Oh, that lava's going to get him," you know. So he was really into it. Mm-hmm. And I've always said I don't mind when kids talk in the movie if they're talking about the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't like when people go, "He's in blah 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 blah." You know, when I go see The Incredibles or I see I'll take him to Hotel Transylvania 3. I don't mind if he says, "Oh, there's a vampire." I don't care when kids say stuff like that. It doesn't take me out of the movie.
I'm going to totally say that when we see.
I'm not going.
Ryan,
to
it's a vampire.
No, I said kids, Zach, not adults.
Not man-childs.
Yeah, not man-childs. But I mean, I think the ending is really cool.
Also, so after Blue takes out the Indoraptor, you know, it's like screaming on top of the Triceratops statue. But then the other two characters come into the museum, like right behind him, and Blue's just disappeared. You know what I'm talking about?
I think they show her run away. Right?
I thought they did.
I thought the scene ended with like Blue's on top, like it jumps off the statue, but then like, you know, screams in the screen, and then I think they cut to Owen and what's her name, and then it cuts
Claire.
back to her assistants like running into the museum.
I don't remember. Maybe.
And they don't have Owen's powers to stop Blue, so they would have been eaten.
Well, I mean, it's also a great moment too where Owen tries to talk to Blue and she doesn't trust him anymore and runs away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good elements, I would say, in the film that aren't fully realized, but like
it felt shorter than a lot of recent like.
Really?
Like,
I thought it was 3 hours. I was like, oh my god, when's this movie gonna be? Wrap up. There's
it,
like so many ideas being thrown at me. Just like pick one.
Yeah,
it's a good thing we didn't watch this last night at like 10:30.
Oh, I know, right?
Oh boy,
it felt like 4 hours.
I mean, I think my biggest issue with it is that like Jurassic World like had the heart of Jurassic World was in the kids and like the brother relationship trying to get back to their parents. Mm-hmm. And I think this film is severely lacking that kind of element where I mean, I love Chris Brown, I love Bryce Dallas Howard, but they're not the ones drawing me to this film. And so it's like, until like this entire time, I didn't really have a character to really root for. Mm-hmm. And so.
They pull that T-Rex pose though twice in this film.
Yeah.
They want to make up for all that time they didn't have her in Jurassic World.
It's fun. Yep. Next week we're seeing Sicario Dos.
I will be seeing Uncle Drew and doing an art house asshole of Uncle Drew. So.
No, please do, so I can read it.
Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for coming out to support us at Denver Comic Con. Until next week, bye.
Bye.
Are we going to do our 10-minute version?
We can.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm down.
For the radio?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you need me to make a separate recording backup just in case?
I'll keep it on this one.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
So do you know what we're doing?
So we're just talking about the movie?
Well,
I know what it is, but how are we doing it, and how are we going to...
I guess like more...
A 10-minute version of Realness Podcast, but only for the movie.
Like
So no DVDs and stuff like that.
I understand that.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're Realness Podcast, introduce everybody. This week we saw this, and then it's just for Jurassic World.
Does that get picked up on the mics at all?
I don't know. I can definitely hear it in my headphones.
Yeah. Here, can I take a listen? Yeah, you can definitely hear it in the headphones. Definitely, yeah. All right. Well, it's dead off now, so we'll probably just go.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2019. I am Ryan. With me is
Brad
and
Henry
and
Zach.
And this week on Real Nerds Podcast, we went and saw Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Brad, should people go see Jurassic World?
It's okay. There's a lot going on, a lot of different ideas being thrown at you. I feel like they could have just picked one and like focused on that for the movie. But if you like seeing dinosaurs, this movie gives you a lot of them.
Zach.
Sorry, I was making sure. I'm not particularly like fascinated or excited by this film. Like, I'm kind of worn out on dinosaurs at this point, especially mutated dinosaurs. There are some things that I enjoyed about it, but ultimately I was just kind of like, okay, that's a film I saw. So, like, I guess if you need to beat the summer heat, go on inside and watch it.
Henry?
I think I wasn't super blown away by it, but if you are desperate for a film, you've already seen all the other blockbusters, there are worse things to see. Mm-hmm. So maybe check it out if you're just desperate for a dinosaur film.
I had fun with it. You know, I took my little boy and he really liked it, so I think I might be a little biased in it, but I think it had some cool ideas. It opened really big, and then it also kind of shrunk back down to a horror film towards the end, so I enjoyed it. Are we playing the trailer?
I don't think we can actually, so just skip that.
So the movie takes place 3 years after the last Jurassic World, which is in real time, and it deals with scientists trying to, again, save the dinosaurs, but there's a little twist that the island is also an active volcano now, and if they don't get dinosaurs off the island, then the dinosaurs will be gone forever. And there's a little scene with Jeff Goldblum at the beginning. He's not really in it, which is kind of weird because he's kind of been focus of a lot of the marketing behind it. And he basically says, let them die because you created them anyways, and they're not real dinosaurs anyways, just let them die. And Claire from the previous Bryce Dallas Howard now works for a dinosaur saving, like Greenpeace basically for dinosaurs. And so she's able to convince Owen to go back to the island to save Blue.
Chris Pratt,
because Blue is the last Velociraptor. So when they go there, it kind of unravels where you find out that it's not what they said it is. They're not saving the dinosaurs. They're actually being collected and harvested not only for the DNA, but they're going to be sold on the black market in some sort of underbelly auction with Russians.
Oh, and their teeth are going to be taken up by Buffalo Bill's Ted Levine. We didn't even mention that.
Yes. So there's also a guy. He reminds me. It seems like we mentioned the Lost World. He reminds me. What's the name of the hunter in the Lost World? Because it's basically the same dude.
Peter Postlethwaite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Ted Levine playing Peter Postlethwaite?
Well, his character wasn't sinister. He was just like a sportsman.
Yeah, but
that
it's kind of the same
InGen.
thing, though, right?
Well,
he's not Muldoon, where he's like a hunter tracker.
Well,
from the first
was
one,
just collecting them for the new park.
Yeah.
These guys are selling them to rich criminals.
No, I get that. It's just like he's even wearing kind of the same stuff.
Yeah,
with the hat.
Muldoon, Pete Postlethwaite's character, like they're like this movie kind of fills all the same character roles with the new people.
Yeah, I mean,
there's even a new Hammond, basically.
There is a new Hammond, James
Lockwood.
Cromwell.
Yeah,
I love him though; he's a great actor. So the movie is introducing several elements here, and one is they're going to create dinosaurs for military, which they kind of mentioned earlier. Vincent D'Onofrio's character in
D'Onofrio,
yeah,
in World, the first one.
That was like his whole thing was he wanted to militarize them and
militarize the raptor, and in this one they created not Indominus Rex, but
the Indoraptor.
The Indoraptor, which they never really revealed. What other parts did they use?
No, it's just Indominus Rex plus Velociraptors.
Is that it? Because I thought Velociraptor was Indominus Rex anyway.
Well, it's also like the specific fact of like the key to training it that comes from Chris Pratt from the first film, and also like something about like the Indominus Rex.
But there's also more dinosaurs that they never really revealed because
I need to rewatch Jurassic World to see like what dinosaurs exactly. Because I think I remember it being like Velociraptors are part of the Indominus Rex.
Yeah, they are, because remember they the Indominus Rex, when they have the raptors go after him, stops him, and they have that hero shot of Pratt, and he goes, "It's part raptor. I'm not the alpha anymore." So there's something else with that.
It might just be like they're just like upping the like Velociraptor aspect, just to make it like smaller to make it kind of like
I guess it's Indominus Rex that has T-Rex in it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, so they all get off the island. I mean, the movie's fun. It has elements that I love. I mean, if you like dinosaurs, there's tons of dinosaurs in it. There's some action adventure that makes it fun. Some of the stories kind of fall on their face, and you don't know where exactly it's going to go. I mean, spoilers. 3, 2, 1. The John Hammond Lockwood character, his granddaughter is actually a clone of his daughter, so they can clone people now, I guess.
Yeah, that's weird.
So it kind of went like as soon as they revealed that and said, "So this is Resident Evil," where because in Resident Evil, the main dude clones his daughter is the Red Queen, and so it just goes really weird sci-fi there.
It's a weird concept, which shouldn't be weird considering we're cloning dinosaurs, but still, it's like a 10-year-old fully formed human that I guess they got right on the first try.
I guess I don't know.
Which is interesting considering their track record with the dinosaur situation. So
it'd be sweet if they had so you're in Lockwood's thing and you go on a tour and he says, "And people DNA," and there'd be like Mr. DNA there telling you how they made his granddaughter.
I think
daughter.
Give me your blood.
Now you bring that up, like that's another deficiency of the movie is like the original Jurassic Park went through a lot of lengths to explain to us how plausible this concept actually is, where they introduced that we can clone humans, but it's just like a story narrative that's like 3% of the movie.
Yeah, and doesn't it seem like
you just have to accept
they bought like an Ankylosaurus, for example, for $14 million? Doesn't that seem cheap? I mean,
wait a minute. Your issue here is the economics of this.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's less than the opening weekend gross of some movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, doesn't seem like it's enough money.
A rare animal.
We'll get Toby Jones on the phone and we'll ask him directly.
And then why did the dude open up the cage after he shot it twice with the darts? What was he trying to?
Oh, Ted Levine?
I guess he's trying to take out a tooth.
Yeah, for his tooth collection.
Now it takes the tooth out of the Indoraptor, gets the hose again.
Okay. I mean, it's cool because they did have a sweet moment where he got bit in the arm and it lifted him up. That was pretty gory for a PG-13 movie. And then I like the ending. I like the Indoraptor chasing people because I thought it shot really cool. I thought it looked really cool in the rain.
I mean, visually, this film is very well done, I would say. Even like the volcano scene is very colorful and very well done.
Yeah, and the scene where they leave they get off the island and they look back at the island as it's going up in flames and whatnot. And there's a single brontosaurus standing at the dock, like being engulfed in the lava and the smoke and whatnot. It's a beautiful image, and like there's plenty of examples of it throughout the entire film. But I don't know. I kind of felt like there's like we've gone very far from the very, if you can believe it, simple plot of the first Jurassic Park, which is what if just dinosaurs came back.
But, the kid in me always still likes when the T-Rex shows up to eat dinosaurs. And they had some really cool scenes when they're escaping the island in the gyrosphere. The Triceratops and I don't even know what the other dinosaur was. They had a cool little fight scene before the T-Rex came up and showed them all what was what was up. And I mean, the special effects look great. They used a lot more animatronic dinosaurs. And the scene where they're doing a blood transfusion from the T-Rex was really cool.
Oh yeah,
because you can tell that that's actually there, that animatronic T-Rex, and it makes it so cool to have that kind of back in the Jurassic World model, because I like Jurassic World. I like the first one, but it was really heavily relied on the CG part of the dinosaurs, and it's really cool to see that. So it's fun. I mean, I had fun watching it. I did. It's Chris Pratt escaping from lava was fun. He's fun in it, and he you mentioned earlier, Brad, that what did you say earlier about him? Alan Grant would never be.
Yeah, it's interesting, like where the series has gone. Like Alan Grant would never have a fight scene with mercenaries, like hand to hand.
No, he just take a raptor claw and give a very scary monologue to the villain.
Yeah. He just uses his smarts and his education to take him down
and scare the crap out of him.
Whereas Chris Pratt just punches him in the face.
That's how Chris Pratt rolls. So next week on Real Nerds Podcast, we'll be seeing the second part of the Sicario story. So stay tuned for that. You can follow us on Twitter at Real Nerds. You can also like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to share you our thoughts on Sicario 2 next week.
I just like that you called it the Sicario story.
Bye.
Bye.